You're watching the Better Days podcast with the boys, Danny and Zach. Any guesses where they are today? Enjoy the episode.
It's great to have you on here, mate.
Thanks for having me. This is a bit strange, feeling recorded. So,
Yes.
yeah.
Once we get through the nerves, it's all good. And just a little chat between two people.
Man, yeah.
Tell me a little about yourself. What do you do? What's your thing? Why are you on the podcast?
Well, I guess it's weird because if people know me, if they're kayakers, then they might know me as the C1 guy.
Yeah.
Like, it's probably the thing that I would be most known for. Which seems weird because that's actually something interesting to talk about, because I came from slalom, and the idea that somebody in slalom is known as being the C1 guy or like the kayak guy, that's super strange.
Okay.
Because like when you're younger and you're like training in slalom, loads of people just like specialize in C1.
Yeah.
And then you go kayaking with them, you go training with them, whatever, and like nobody really bats an eyelid.
Yeah.
Whereas when I started doing whitewater, I was like, stop racing and be like, all right, let's do whitewater. It seems really, really fun. But I can't paddle kayak, so I'm going to have to do this in C1. And I like went to TNR. It was like, this was years ago. It was maybe 4 or 5 years ago. I like went to TNR and I was like, oh, have you guys got any C1 demos I could try? They were like, obviously no, like, are you an idiot? But like for me and my sister used to import slalom boats into the UK and sell them when I was in my undergrad. And like we had C1 demos.
Oh, really?
Yeah. Because there's enough of a market of C1 paddlers in slalom that just solely do C1. They want to demo different boats, like get a feel of it, that you just have boats permanently set up as C1. So I find that interesting about whitewater, that like that somebody could be known as the C1 guy.
Yeah. I suppose in the plastic whitewater industry, it's so niche.
Yeah.
Designed as a C1. They never
Nothing
come out with
designed.
C1 outfitting.
Yeah.
That's all a homemade job.
Oh man, that's that. I feel bad because I keep buying boats secondhand and then just butchering them. My Stoke I bought for like £800 off a guy. Actually, a guy in North Wales, super nice guy. I took it to the garage and then like day one, it's just like butchered. And I'm watching like £600 of resale value just disappear as I'm like hacking a big hole in the middle of the boat.
Yeah. Sticking some foam in.
Yeah.
Must be another skill in itself, trying to work out outfitting.
Oh man, the outfitting is an art. The one, because in slalom, it's actually kind of easy to outfit a boat. Because the foam just sticks to the carbon like pretty easily, but nothing sticks to the plastic.
No.
So the one I've got right now, it's got like a sheet of plywood in it, and then like all the foam is stuck to the plywood, and then the plywood has got like 2 metal bars on it that like wedge the foam. So that's what keeps me in the boat. And then all the straps are connected to the metal foam. But yeah, when I like rocked up in Norway, I took the boat off the roof at like the top of Tunnel Drop. I was like paddling with a bunch of people that I'd like never met before. And they were like looking in my boat like, mate, you got a sheet of plywood in here. Like, are you an idiot? Like, you can't paddle that. Like, what are you doing?
Wow.
Yeah. That's funny.
That is mad.
Oh yeah.
Well, it's so impressive seeing you on the water and just hanging out with kayakers, and there's no ability that you can't join, you can't like you can't do this waterfall, you can't do this shot. Like there's nothing holding you back for it. But you're the only one doing it.
I'm the only idiot doing it in C1. That's actually like a big goal of mine. Is I never want people to be like, oh, Angus is coming, we're gonna have to like make special sort of, we're not, well, we have to portage this, we have to do that. Like I just want people to be like, oh, Angus is coming.
Yeah.
That's it.
Like,
yeah. And yeah, that's it. That's fine. It's like, that's a big thing or a big reason why I started my Instagram as well, is because I was just kind of doing whitewater C1, and loads of my mates are like better at C1 than I am. And they don't do it anymore. Like,
really?
Yeah, they stop racing. And there's like a thing we can talk about in slalom, like that kind of once you stop racing, it's really hard to like keep the motivation to stay paddling.
Yeah.
Like I'm lucky that I managed to find a love in whitewater and like get a buzz from that. But yeah, like loads of my mates stopped paddling. And I kind of wanted to start the Instagram to like show all these people that are like super skilled in C1 that like, look, you can do it too. It's honestly fine. Yeah. And again, yeah, when I started, I was like, this is just me being like a beater, not knowing about like not knowing about the world of whitewater. I like met these guys at the Falls of Laura. I was just like surfing in the slalom boat, and their like young kid was there. He's like super good paddler. He's like shredding the falls all like, he lives really nearby, so he just like shreds the falls all the time. And we were chatting away. I was like chatting to his dad, and he's like on about this. I was like, oh, you should do C1. And the dad just like laughed, like, why would you ever do that? So yeah, that is like a bit of a motivation for, it's certainly why I started the Instagram. It's like, I wanted to show that like, nah, C1's not just for like people that didn't quite, aren't very good at kayak and they wanted to be like, do something a bit quirky and a bit special. I wanted to show people that like, no, like you can be just as good as kayakers. Yeah.
It's like a different sport. It's not a failed sport and you move on to that.
Yeah, exactly. It's not like for people that are just like, well, I mean, I guess I'm not a good example because I am super weird, but it's not just for super weird people.
I know what you mean. But it is, like I said, it's so impressive to watch. And we'll link the Instagram because the extreme slalom series on your Instagram is incredible. I love it.
Yeah.
What did you find?
Those are like, sometimes I really dislike social media. Like I don't really like being the one to be like, oh, let's record this or let's stop and do that. Like I like kind of having genuine moments kayaking, and if it happens to be caught on film, then super. But the extreme slalom is the only videos that I ever like really look forward to making. Yeah. Like I think you can kind of tell I'm just having so much fun as well. Yeah. And I think that as well is something that lots of people see slalom as quite boring. And that's something that's happened with the rise. Maybe it's been accelerated by the rise of like artificial courses. Yeah. That like slalom is seen as something that's kind of boring. Like, who's the guy on Instagram? Drippy boat beater. Yeah. Like he's got like he's got quite a lot of followers on Instagram, and he's always like talking about how slalom is pretty boring, and I understand why people would get that image,
especially from an outside perspective.
Yeah, definitely, because like you just see, if you're like a whitewater kayaker and you're paddling the Fairy Glen before work, and then you see some guys in like these super long like tippy boats just like obsessing over a couple of gates on like a kind of flat water section, you're like, why would you do that? I'm just going to go paddle the Glen and have like an amazing experience. Like, and so I get that. And that's another thing I want to like show is I actually really love slalom. It can be so fun. And I'm lucky that I learned slalom in Scotland and I think that's a big reason why I still do slalom. It's because for me, slalom wasn't just about racing. It wasn't just about like obsessing over tiny, minute details. Lots of the paddling that I did was just surfing, like was going to Stanley after school, or like you can do like a laid session at Stanley. It's similar to here. You can like jump on a canal, paddle to like just below Hellhole, and then come down and surf and stuff. And so loads of the paddling that I did when I was younger was just like surfing in the slalom boat and like seeing what freestyle people were doing online and being like, oh, I wonder if I can do something similar in a slalom boat, and like try develop like a technique to do that. And then you get like a big buzz, and you can like string together moves in a really nice way in a slalom boat, and you like, and that's for me is like the joy in slalom. It's like taking the boat out of like a boring man-made whitewater course. Or, I mean, you can have so much fun on those courses as well. So maybe it's not about the course, and it's just about like pushing the limit of what you can do in the boat, stringing together a bunch of really, really interesting moves. And you can really make slalom like whatever you want it. Like if you want it to be exciting and you want to do it on big water, like you can paddle waterfalls in slalom boats.
I have seen. I've seen one person do it.
Yeah. Maybe there's not many people that do that, but like you could. And yeah, like I was saying this to, there's a conversation going on in like Scottish slalom scenes right now. There's like a big Scottish slalom group chat because lots of people are worrying about like participation rates going down. I think you see it like, I mean, imagine it's the same for freestyle. Maybe not, but it's kind of this, definitely the case in slalom is that like participation rates are kind of struggling, and people are trying to get a bit of an atmosphere and like trying to think of creative ways to like get more kids involved in the sport and like really develop that big club scene again.
Yeah.
And I was saying to them, I was like, you know, you can do so much more with these slalom boats. We live in Scotland and we're constantly training on flat water, and we're like constantly going to Pinkston, and Pinkston's all right, but it's kind of not very nice in a slalom boat because it's really narrow. And I was like, the Lenny's in this weekend and it's in for the whole weekend. Like, let's go string up some gates and like, let's go have like an absolute blast. Like there's big waves. We can like do some big moves. It'll be super, super cool. So I think that was, I was like, oh, I want to show people that, you know, if you get creative with it and you like, don't put yourself into a box thinking that, oh, I thought she was going to hit the camera. You know? If you don't, put yourself into a box and think like, oh, slalom is for like, you know, small sites, and like plastic boats are for big sites, and you like really get creative with the combinations, you can have like so much more fun.
Yeah.
And I think it would be a way of keeping younger people in the sport. Like, I don't know, just develops a different river, you know, a whole new experience, things that they can do.
Yeah, it's not the same concrete ditch.
Yeah.
You've changed it on a river.
Yeah, exactly. I was saying, this is actually a little bit of like philosophy as well we're getting into.
Yeah.
Because I guess I should introduce why I'm into philosophy, but I kind of almost live like two lives, and they're very separate. It's a bit strange because when I talk to kayaking people, I never really talk about philosophy, but like my main job is I'm doing a PhD in philosophy. And when I talk to my philosophy friends and like my professors and all these things, like the people that are doing a PhD in the same cohort, they like don't understand kayaking at all. No. So like the two worlds are really, really separate. And for the longest time, I kept them separate. And it's a similar idea to what I'm on about of like mixing things up in a creative way. Is I've started trying to like combine the both. And there's like a bit of a literature on the philosophy of sport. And I find it super interesting because lots of questions like, oh, you know, we're struggling with participation rate. Like this is, once you've got the data, that's like a science thing. It's like you collect the empirical evidence of like, all right, what's the number? How many people, like what's the decrease over time? This kind of thing. That's like a science question. But then when you ask like how and like why and like lots of this, like you're kind of getting into philosophy. Like there's not really data that can answer those questions. You have to think, and like that's philosophy. And so I like now doing a bit of philosophy of sport. It's very different to what my main PhD is actually in, but I find it very useful to come up with the new ideas and like to reframe things that we often talk about in sport and like do it in quite a rigorous way. And anyway, so this group chat was, you know, lots of people were on about, oh, we got a decrease in participation rate over time. Like, what do we do about this? And there's this thing called value capture, right? And it's by a guy called Nguyen. I don't really know how to pronounce his second name, Nguyen. Anyway, he basically talks about a value capture is like a mechanism that takes an activity with like a holistic value, right? So like a multifaceted value set. If you say someone like, oh, get into climbing, right? They're going to like go to a bouldering gym. They're going to go climbing outdoors. They're going to do all lots of different things. And in an ideal world, they go through a process of value selection where they try out all the different aspects of the sport. It doesn't have to be a sport, but a sport's a good example. They try out all the different aspects and they realize like, oh, you know, there's something about like outdoor trad climbing. Like, oh, I really love this. Maybe it's because I love adventure. Like maybe it's because I hold that as like a fairly intrinsic value for me is I'm someone that values adventure. And so bouldering in a gym doesn't really give them that. It doesn't satisfy that value, right? So they start leaning towards trad climbing. And then maybe they also value, maybe they're kind of like they like taking a bit of risk, and they like that adrenaline, and they value something along the lines of like pushing their limits. So they're like, oh, okay, instead, like, I'm going to do trad climbing, and then this winter, wow, let's do like outdoor lead climbing. And like, that's really sort of like, that feels really on the edge. So this is like a really organic value selection process. They're going into a sport, and they're like pursuing different avenues that align with their core values. And a value capture happens when an institution comes into a sport or is already in a sport, and it gives you a value off the shelf, if that makes sense. So usually it happens by a metric, something that you can measure, something that you can quantify. And then they say that like, or the institution starts kind of showing people like, oh, the value of the sport is this one thing, right? As in like this holistic value of like all these different, the sport has like lots of different ways that you can express different values and explore different things. It kind of becomes condensed into one thing, right? And then given to you. So like a prime example would be like Strava, okay? So it's like, imagine I start running because I really like being outdoors. And then, this big institution, Strava, like the social media platform, you jump on this because a bunch of your mates are on it, and you're like, oh yeah, okay, this is great. And you start seeing like, oh, we're talking about like, I don't know, I don't run. So, I guess you're talking about like speed or like distance. So distance would be a good example. And you're like, oh, right. Like the person that runs the furthest, like, that's the value. Like the value is like this metric, this number that you get at the end of it, right? And so you start being like, oh, okay, like, so good means like long. So you start going on like longer runs. And I guess this is fine, but like the value selection process wasn't organic. Yeah. It was given to you by the company.
Yeah. But it's given you a choice of what you want to measure.
Yeah.
Is it distance, speed?
Yeah.
The environment?
Yeah. And so like you no longer care about being outdoors.
Yeah.
All you care about is the number that you get at the end and you post on social media. And I think sadly in slalom, I guess this is the rambling point that I'm coming to, is in slalom, I see racing as a bit of a value capture, right? In that lots of my friends that were better than me at C1, I think, and maybe this is putting too much on them, but I think this definitely happens for some people, is they become racers instead of paddlers.
Yeah.
Okay. So they get given this value and they see the whole value of the sport as doing well in a race, right? It's like your position at the end of the weekend. And like, yeah, a good day is when you get good position, like a bad day, bad position, right? You no longer value being with your mates and like, having a beer after the race, or like you no longer value like surfing a wave at the end. Like the whole value becomes the position of the race. And like, why is this bad? And how does this relate to participation rates? Well, if your value is racing, if you get given this value and you internalize this value and you see the whole value of the activity as the race, then when you stop racing, the value disappears, right?
Yeah.
So it's like loads of my mates, some of my mates were racers, and that's fine. They loved the race. But when the racing stops, they don't do it anymore. And I think I'm lucky in that, like, I didn't really like racing that much. I like the buzz when you do well. I think everybody does. Like, it's almost why it's so addictive and why it becomes such a potent value capture, is because it does feel good to do well. But I was lucky that because I spent so much time surfing on Stanley when I was younger with my family, that when I stopped racing, I had other values to like explore in the sport. Like I loved the adventure. I loved like I love the sensation of surfing. I loved like the sensation of play. And so I was able to stay in the sport because I guess I was more of a paddler rather than a racer. And I was saying to people on this group chat, I was trying to say like, we should take this idea seriously and be like, lots of the focused slalom training is all about racing. You only go to Alva when it's like, Alva's like a famous Scottish I mean, no whitewater paddler will have heard of this. It's a proper like Scottish ditch.
Okay.
Yeah, it's like muddy field with some slalom gates in it, and it's great. It's like all the slalom legends of Scotland have trained there. It's really hard to motivate yourself when it's freezing cold to go out and go training there. And lots of the time when you're a kid, you do it because you're like, I'm training to do well in a race.
Yeah.
And the doing well in the race, that's the value. So then when you stop racing, you no longer go to Alva.
Yeah.
And I find that a bit of a shame. And so, yeah, I was saying to these people in the group chat, I was like, look, like we should take this idea of value capture seriously. And we should be like, you know, let's see if we can increase participation rate in the sport in general. It doesn't have to be reflected in the racing, right? It can just be reflected in the sport. I go to Alva still to train because I'm like working on different techniques and I still love it. And I quite like chatting to the kids. They're hilarious. But I won't get recorded as like a participating member of the sport because I don't race anymore.
Yeah.
But like I'm there to fill up numbers and I can help out. I can give people some small tips on C1 if they're like struggling with a move or something like that. And I think that's good for the sport in general. So I do think we should do that. And again, that's part of the reason why I like the Slalom on Steroids series, because it's a way of like showing people that there's more value in the sport that can be captured by a simple race.
Yeah. And you've gone and made your own course.
Yeah.
In the environment that you're at, you've found something that looks fun and interesting, and you've made it happen.
Yeah, exactly. And like you can do that anywhere. You can do that on the D. You can do that on the Glen. Like you can do that in so many places. There's like more than near infinite number of ways to run a rapid, and I think exploring all those possibilities, especially in a slalom boat, is like really, really fun. Yeah.
How creative you can be in this sport is down to you.
Yeah.
And what you want to do.
Yeah, absolutely. So I guess that is how I feel about slalom now. Is that I think if we want to increase participation, like we need to find a way of exploring and allowing young people to like explore and express different values in the sport. And I think that's nice. I really stand by that. Yeah.
I like that. Yeah. You found the reason why you want to do it.
Yeah.
Is different to most, but it's probably the healthiest and is definitely the most sustainable.
Yeah, and it's authentic to me.
Exactly.
As in, like, someone else, they might not like racing and they might not like the adventure, which is kind of why I like kayaking. They might just become obsessed with like surfing. And if you go to the Falls of Laura, you'll find these people.
They don't do rivers.
They don't do rivers. They're obsessed with surfing and go like good on them. That's awesome. And I want slalom clubs to be like, right, let's go to Stanley and let's like surf. Or lots of people do that, but like let's go to the Falls of Laura, or like let's go to the Bitches and like let's get there, let's surf. And like 3 kids might just be totally hooked.
Yeah.
And that might be them, and that keeps them in the sport, and that's better for everyone. Yeah, exactly, and that's better for everyone. Yeah.
You're definitely right about the lack of kids that are coming into the sport will be a problem in the future if they don't keep going.
Yeah. And I think as well, it's on the other end. It's not just lack of young people coming into the sport. It's also like keeping the old people around. Like I'm considered really old in slalom. I guess in whitewater, I'm not considered that old, but when I go to Alva and it's like all these kids and they're like all starting to beat me, they're all starting to do moves nicer than me. I'm like, oh no, I'm so old. But I remember being there when I remember training when I was like 13 there. And you'd be in the changing groups and there'd be all these legends, like older legends, like Bradley Forbes Cryans. He's like ended up going to the Olympics. Like a bunch of these people, like Olympics, world champs. There would be all these legends there. Like, and some of them would be like no longer racing, but they'd still kind of be hanging around paddling. And you kind of don't get that anymore, which is a bit of a shame. Yeah. It's just me. Like I'm the only elderly. I'm the only elderly person at Alva now.
Wow.
Yeah. It'd be nice to see more people my age, like, because there's so much talent there.
Yeah.
And it doesn't necessarily get used that much anymore. So it'd be nice to see, those people still out shredding. No, that'd be cool.
Yeah, like that. Back to the C1 side of it.
Oh yeah.
You're almost so isolated in the whitewater side of C1. You can probably count a handful of people that do it, especially at the level that you're paddling at.
It's very nice.
Would you like to see more people doing that? Or
Yeah.
do you like it that it's niche and you're the only one doing it?
No, absolutely not. I'm not picky. When I don't like being the only one and being like, oh, stay out my lane, man. No, that's not me. Whenever I go to the McLaren slalom, I'm always like trying to convince people. I'm like, Liam Green, he's really good in the slalom boat. He's really good in the C1. But he like hardly paddles it.
Yeah.
He does lots of OC1ing, but I think he's like prioritizing kayak right now. But whenever we're at McLaren's, I'm like, mate, you're doing a lap. Like, we're not leaving here until you get a C1 rundown. And then Ian McBride as well, he's really good in the C1. And so I was like really happy we got like 3 C1. No, we got 4 because John Edwards was there as well in C1. And I was like, damn, first time I came here, I was the only one. And now like a year later, there's 4.
That's
like,
cool.
I'm happy. Like, that's
progression.
Cool. Yeah, that's cool. And actually, I just met a guy this morning. Me and Tess rocked up here at the D to go. We went to do a lap, and we were like, oh, we don't have a shuttle, so we just kind of drove to the top car park, and we like met these guys there. I was like chatting away to them, and like super nice guy. He set the shuttle for me. Cookie. I'd never met him before. Super nice guy. He lives in Corwin, right?
Yeah.
We were chatting away to him. He was actually playing Dope Lemon as I got into his van to do the shuttle, and I was like, oh, anyone that listens to Dope Lemon is a friend of mine. And I was chatting to him, and he was basically saying like, oh, I saw your videos, and like I used to do slalom, and like I bet he used to do C1 slalom. I bet he was an absolute like killer. I bet he crushed. He's like, I did C1 freestyle, but I never did C1 whitewater. He's like, so I just got a ripper, and I'm like gonna convert it. I was like, oh, that's like a dream. And it was really nice of him to be like, oh, like, your videos are like showed me a bit. I was like, that's really, really nice. Like, that's the first time anything like that's ever happened. I was like, whoa, that's mad. It's mad that like that can actually happen. Like, that's really cool. So yeah, that's like everything. If I come and I see other C1 paddlers, I'm like, that rips. Yeah,
that's really cool.
Yeah,
but it's so rare seeing C1 on the river though. Like, yeah, it's just kayakers.
Yeah. It is just kayakers. It is just an extra barrier of entry, isn't it? Because you have to convert a boat.
Yeah, but I suppose if you had a boat and a kayak and a beginner, you're not that much better as a beginner kayaker than a beginner C1. If you've got to learn from nothing, you could learn C1 just as easy as kayaking. Yeah.
That and that's why I much prefer C1. As in, people are always like, oh, you're not scared doing it in C1. I'm like, mate, I would be terrified doing it in a kayak.
Yeah.
Like, I stopped doing kayak so early. Like, I didn't even do it. I think I did it for like, my parents dragged me around. They like dragged when I was young. I must have been like 8, 9. They're like dragging me around to these like ditches to go do kayak. And I was like, oh, I hate this, Mum. Like, I'm not doing this sport. And they all do it. My mum is ex-British team slalom paddler. My dad is like ex-Scottish team slalom paddler. My sister is like a world champion. She's like really, really good slalom paddler. And my whole family was doing it, and I was the youngest, and I was like, no, I ain't doing this. This sucks. And they were so gutted because they just wanted to share their love with their kids. So I said to them, I'm like, nah, I'm quitting. I'm done with this. I'm like, why can't I do what Dad does? And like, Dad is a C1 paddler. I just thought it looked cool. I was like, oh, it's interesting. Like, why can't I just do that? And so like, any opportunity to keep me in the sport, they just jumped at. It's like the next day they were like, oh, we've got this rusty old C1. Like, here you go, Angus. It's yours now. And like, I didn't get in a kayak after that.
Super like, sense.
Yeah. I think I was like 10. And then when I was 11, I paddled down the Ardèche gorge in like a C1, and the photos of me are hilarious. I'm so skinny, just like trying to do a crossbar, trying to keep the boat in a straight line. But like, because I transitioned so early, because I just prioritize, or I guess specialize is a better word, like because I specialize C1 so early, like now it feels like home. Yeah, like it'd be the same like you in kayak, right? Like you get in a kayak, if you got on a C1, you'd be like, "Ooh, this is a bit funky, a bit weird." It's not familiar.
I think I'd be a bit more scared. This is a bit funky. This is a bit weird.
No, you'd be fine. You'd be like, "This is a bit funky. This is a bit weird," but like you'd be like, "It's all right." But when you get to kayak, you're just like, "Oh, yeah, this is home." I understand it.
Yeah. And that's just what you've got.
That's just what I've got. Yeah, exactly. And so, it would be cool to see more C1 paddlers out there. Yeah, definitely.
And I know it's similar and it's in a white water boat, but it definitely moves differently. And it was magical to watch.
Yeah.
Especially with that lighter front end and you being taller. Coming down ferries, just watching you fly out.
Yeah. The light front end is like the envy of all kayakers.
The skip.
Yeah.
When we were on the Cledda the other week, watching you come down the slide, the launch you come into the edge.
It's like all the weights in the middle, so you just feels like you're hydroplaning or something. Yeah, it's cool.
Crazy. It is magical to watch.
Yeah, I kind of love it for that. Like when it goes right, it feels so good. And I do actually think you have to change your brain a little bit. Like you have to adjust your lines. Like C1s move really well in like curves. Like I think in kayak coaching they call it like a power curve, right?
Okay.
I think Liam was telling me that the concept does exist in like kayak coaching. The idea of having like a do you want me to stop where the car is coming?
No, we're
all right. Okay.
We are in a car park.
We are in a car park. Yeah, we're in the get off for the dude. He's gonna come up and pay for parking now. So yeah, I think the concept does exist. I think a little child was telling me about it as well. But in C1, it's how I think about C1 because the boat moves really, really well to your onside stroke. Like you never need to do a crossbow if your boat is slightly curving towards your onside.
Okay.
Because you're just like drawing in a way. Like it's like a draw and then a pull. So you can build loads and loads of speed with the big paddle, big leverage in a power curve, right? So the way I like approach rapids is I do everything in like C's. I do everything in curves.
Yeah.
Because I know that that's how the boat likes to move. And like, so everything, if I need to hit a move straight, like I'll be trying to line up from the river right above it so that I can curve into it and then like launch off straight. And that's kind of interesting because it does apply to kayak, and like sometimes kayakers just necessarily wouldn't think about that. Like they wouldn't think about, it's a different way you can approach this, and like actually like you can build speed on this like curve, and like you can really, really accelerate the boat on the edge, and then you can like fly off things. So I think crossing over and doing both is really helpful for people. And when I do kayak, I like learn so much because I'm so right heavy that quite often I get bogged down, and I'm always trying to do things in my right. And then when I go into kayak, if I'm messing around or something, just like, I never do it, but like sometimes I'll borrow a friend's boat or whatever. I like learn a lot. I'm like, oh yeah, okay, the boat moves in a different way. So I think just like changing your perspective is always going to be beneficial for kayaking no matter what. Yeah.
Yeah. It's mad to think going in seas and see how that works.
Yeah.
Gripping on edge and powering through corners.
Like on Nosebreaker in Norway on the Randau, it's like really, really famous drop. People will know it. It almost looks like a jet flume or something like that. Like the water kind of curves in on itself. But whenever I saw it, I was like, oh, this is the dream righty rapid, because it's just two curves. It's just two C's. You like start in the eddy on the river right, then you like curve up onto the first curl, then you like hit the second curl, and that, in my head when I was planning the rapid, I was like, that's the reset for my second curve, because my second curve is once I hit the curl, then I curve back towards the paddle and like land out the booth. So it's just like two C's with like one kind of like transition point where I like rest off the wave and then I go again. But yeah, like I guess in a kayak you would never approach the rapid in that way, but well, whatever. It's just interesting. Yeah.
With back to waterfalls, landing, obviously you can land pretty badly in a kayak.
Yeah.
You can feel that on your back. What's it like landing flat on your knees?
I never really feel it on my knees. I think they take a little bit of compression out of the back, because my back's kind of always been fine. The problem is my nose is it's just an ongoing issue that I've had to deal with. So yeah, I keep breaking my nose, man. I broke it twice this year. Because I tried to do lots more waterfalls this year, and so like last January I was like, right, I'm gonna fire up Intree, and like the big slide in Intree. Have you seen it in person?
Yes, but not paddled it.
Yeah, no, it's like the ramp on the set. It's like a big, maybe it like drops onto a ramp, and then the ramp kicks you out, but it doesn't kick you out into a pool. It like kicks you out onto another slab, and then you hit the pool. And in my head, I was like, right, well, I know that some people have broken their back as they land on this second slab. The impact's not too bad, but I can imagine it would be really sore. And if people have broken their back there, then it's worth like thinking about that. So I was like, all right, well, I'll just lean forwards. Like, I'm not going to break my back. But I think because you don't have your hamstrings out in front of you, like if you've got your hamstrings out, so your legs out in front of you, you've got like all the muscle group that's almost acting as like a big spring. Like it's really hard to lean forwards and touch your head between your knees.
Yeah.
Whereas if you're kneeling, it's very easy to put your head between your knees because you've got none of those like muscle groups to stop you. And so I just like hit the pool at the bottom and just face planted the boat so hard. Like, it's like I was saying like a Donald Duck thing. Like my nose was on the back of my head. It felt like. So they call that drop injury falls.
Injury falls.
Yeah. And on the guidebook, it says like, oh, don't forget to stop at McDonald's on your way to Fort William A&E. And I was like, oh, no. I'm going to be fine. It's not going to happen to me. And then I'm in the car and my mate's like, do you want to go to McDonald's? I'm like, yeah. on the way to A&E. Oh dear. Yeah. So that was a big learning moment. I was like, right, okay. And I guess no one told me to watch out for this because I guess there's no one to ask really. Yeah. So I didn't feel too bad. I felt a bit guilty. Like that was silly, but I'll try learn from it. And so I got better and better at like working on landing. That's like the nice sweet spot where I'm not upright, so my back's out of danger and I've got like a nice stomp, but I'm not too forwards. I'm not just going to face plant the boat. And it was all going very, very well until Norway when I lined up Mats's drop. And I like Mats's is like a big ramp. Again, I love it. Just I don't even like drops like this, but I always seem to be doing them. It's like, oh, why? It's like Mats's is like a big ramp, and it kind of like, I think they say it's 18 meters like pool to pool. And so it's like maybe like a 2-3 meter drop onto like a big ramp, and then the ramp like sort of shoots you out and you land in the pool. And my entry was, I was like slightly too far to the right than I wanted. And the ramp is almost like a bowl. So if you're on the right, it kicks your right edge up slightly.
Okay. If
that makes sense. Like if it's almost like a hollowed out bowl. So if you're in the middle, you can be perfectly flat. But if you're off to one side, almost like a flume in a swimming pool, your boat's going to be on edge as you come flying out. And I was slightly too far to the right than I ideal position wanted to be. So when I flew out, I like realized I was like super, super, super on edge, had to like lean off side edge. And as I was like midair, I was like, I'm not going to get the sweet spot. I'm off edge like this. I don't want to land sideways because that's like I could damage my ribs. So I was like, all right, nose it is. Like lean forwards, protect my back. And then, my nose again. Oh man. I was like, oh, my poor mom, she's having to deal with all of this. Because my mom's a doctor, so whenever I like hurt myself, like doing whatever, kayaking or whatever, I'm always calling mom like, oh, do you think it's gonna be okay?
Making her worry.
Yeah, making her worry. I never tell her before going kayaking. No. Yeah. Just send her a video afterwards. And she'll be like, oh dear. But you must get that as well. Do your parents ever get worried about the kayaking you do? Like if you solo the Glen or something, like, are they nervous?
I don't often tell them I solo the Glen.
Oh, right.
But it's now on the internet.
Well, there you go.
Yeah, they were really worried, but it's new to them and they don't massively understand that. And I've kind of convinced them what's safe and what's dangerous. And, and they know what I do and they're less worried.
Okay.
What I always find funny is I can show my mum a video and it could be a really big level river, really scary and high.
Yeah.
But if there's no rocks because it's covered, she thinks it's fine. But it could be a really low techie run, which is not that much of a problem, but there's loads of rocks. She's worried about the rocks.
Yeah, okay. That makes sense. If you're like a non-paddler, you see your son going like down big splashy waves, you're like, oh, woo, this is fun.
Yeah.
Whereas like a paddler's looking at that being like, oh my God, this is down. Yeah.
But I suppose if you're not, aware of it.
Yeah. No, that makes a lot of sense. That's funny. Oh, well, now it's out there that you solo the Glen. Your parents are going to be, oh my God, what's the Glen like? It's the rocks.
Oh, yeah.
I guess it's not the rocks that's the problem on the Glen. It's the small gaps between them. That's the problem.
Exactly.
Exactly.
Yeah, we like the rocks.
Yeah. Oh, there you go. Just to make your mum even more scared now.
Like, Mum, skip this bit.
Yeah, exactly.
But you've been on the Glen quite a few times now.
Yeah, super lucky.
Yeah,
Dude, whenever I come to North Wales, it's in.
Yeah, you're like our lucky
Mate,
charm.
It's mad. I was saying this to people. I was like,
You've never had a bad trip to North Wales.
I honestly don't. I was thinking about it. Unless I came in the summer, like before I did Whitewater.
Yeah.
I don't think I've been to North Wales and not got the Glen.
Yeah.
Like, that's crazy. But I was telling people, I was like, oh mate, you should move down there. It's like always in. It's like permanently running. You can just go grab it whenever. But I've realized that's not the case.
No.
Yeah. I was like super lucky when I came down because Tessa, I mean, the only reason I've paddled the Glen is because, like, as a Scottish boater, like loads of Scottish paddlers won't have like bothered to come down. Not bothered to come down, but I think it's just like, it's so far.
And you've got great things in Scotland.
Exactly. You've got great things there. Like, you have to make a trip of it and come down and when it's raining and try to get a bunch of different runs. And obviously it's no guarantee, so it's really hard to plan trips. But Tessa, my missus, she went back to uni as a mature student in Bangor. And so I was coming down to visit her. And like every time I came down to visit, I would like bring my boat, and then Ali would be like, oh, you gotta come do these rivers. So like first time like did the Glen. To be fair, I was really scared. It's an intimidating river. Like first time. I think the first time you do it, like I think as well, because Ali was nervous about the C1 thing. He was like, is this a good idea?
Was he?
Well, also, interestingly, actually, I might name drop him because he'll get a buzz from or he might not get a buzz. But before I did the first time I did the Glen, like just before I was kind of getting on, Ali was like messaging Barra.
Yeah. And
he was like, oh yeah, Angus is going to come tomorrow. Like he's got his boat. He's like all ready. And Barra's like, I don't think it's a good idea. I don't think it's a good idea for someone to do the Glen in the C1 because I don't know. It's just people don't see it. They don't see like it done. So they were like, and rightfully, like putting him on the spot a little bit, but like rightfully so, he was like, maybe we should like think about this. Like, is that a good idea? And luckily it was a good idea, although I did beat him my way down the first time.
Everyone does.
Everyone does. I mean, Henry Moores, I still beat him my way down Henry Moores.
No, you don't. Some of the cleanest lines I've ever seen anyone do is you.
Well, that's Henry Moores. It's either super clean and nice or you get bitten. I think that's, yeah. It's a bit of a roll of the dice, isn't it, no matter what. Yeah. But yeah, so that was funny. But I kind of fell in love a little bit with paddling in North Wales because in Scotland, everybody's so spread out. People are up in Inverness and like people are in Fort William and there's like a bit of a Glasgow crew and there's like, but everybody's so spread out. It's kind of hard to have like a solid like Donny crew. And I couldn't believe like you just rock up at the Glen at like 7:15 and there's like 10 people there.
Pretty much. Yeah.
This is mint. And they're all super nice.
Yeah.
The first time I met Barney, I thought he was a legend because I was like chatting away to this guy. He's absolute like killer on the water. And then I was like, oh, what do you do? He's like a lawyer. So just like paddling the Glen in the morning and then going and like being a lawyer. It's like, that's awesome. So cool.
Lapping the Glen today, and then at like 2:15, Barney wanted a break and joined us on a lap of the Glen. Did a lap and then went back to work.
So good. Just close some big corporate law deal and then, celebrate with a little cheeky Glenny. Yeah, that's cool. I think that's one thing I love about North Wales is the community. It's really, really nice, and it's like everybody knows everybody, and people are willing to paddle with lots of people. So I find that cool.
Yeah,
like no one ever has a problem when you rock up at like the Glen, like in the morning or whatever it is, whatever river is the Donny squad are doing. Like they're just happy for you to join and just like buzzed when you like get a line and it's like, oh, that's really nice. Yeah.
As long as you don't make them late for work.
yeah, exactly. If you're faffing, then oh dear, you're no longer invited. No. Yeah. So that is one thing I really love about kayaking here. I think I just couldn't move down. I don't know. Like, I just can't leave Scotland. I just love it too much, man. That's it. Just feel too connected to Scotland. I think if I moved here, I would be like, and me and Tess always talk about this. We're like, yeah, if we moved here, we'd be like, we'd have an amazing life. And then like one day in 10 years, Beluga Lagoon would come on the radio and we'd be like, we got to go back. We got to go home. Yeah.
Yeah. Scotland is incredible though.
Yeah. It's really cool. Yeah, it's really cool. I like some of the lesser known runs as well, like exploring that stuff. I really want to go out and make an effort to not just do the classics, like to actually go and try find some, because loads of them are really good, especially north of Inverness. I feel like that's a bit of a project right now. I want to try get more time north of Inverness. Like all those runs are amazing. And like the Inver, that's crazy because it's just always running. Like it's always running. Grade 4 Gorge, always running in the winter.
Really?
Yeah. So the only problem is it's like 4 hours from Stirling. It's like 4 hours from anywhere. Yeah.
I see.
Yeah. So it's like everything's got an asterisk, and that one is that asterisk. Yeah. Always going, but no one's there to do it.
Fair play.
Yeah.
I like the idea of not chasing the classics and trying to find these new ones. I just think you need the attitude of they're probably not gems and they're not classics for the reason.
Yeah.
They're going to be good, but there's going to be some faff on it.
There is going to be some
faff, trees.
Yeah. Trees.
I suppose having the Glen that's the most popular river in the UK, or definitely North Wales, the tree's not going to last long in that river.
Yeah.
Everyone knows about it, and someone's going to cut it out.
Yeah. And that, in North Wales, I think that's why the non-classics don't really get run all that much. Like there are people that go out and explore them, but the difference between the classics and the ditches, if you will, is so big. Like, I think in Scotland, maybe some of the ditches like are still of pretty decent quality.
Yeah.
And then but here, the top quality classic runs are like the best runs in the UK, like up there with like anything that you get in Scotland. Like they are like, if you were going to tell people, right, 10 best rivers, that like the Cledder and the Glen are going to be in them.
Yeah.
Like if you've got that, you've got such high quality, then it makes it all the harder to then go and like forsake that for something else.
Especially when they're running, you know what's a good level, you know what you like on the river.
Yeah. You've got mates to do it with.
Yeah.
Yeah, because everybody's going there. Yeah.
And especially for a lot of these classics, there's no faff, there's no flat sections. It's just class kayaking.
Yeah.
Like the Glen is 10 minutes of great kayaking.
Yeah.
Do it again.
Oh, it's unreal, man. I became obsessed when I was younger. This is a little bit weird, but I became obsessed with like the perfect thing. I think maybe this is the reason that I got into philosophy. I had a bit like existential crisis when I was like 8 years old. But I basically realized when I was like 9, I was like, you pay a price for everything. I was like, there's no such thing as the perfect thing.
Oh, because you sacrifice something else.
You have to sacrifice something, right? And I was like, I was almost in despair over this. I was like, oh God, like, everything in the world like comes at like some kind of like cost, whether it's like to your health or to like your wallet or like whatever it is, right? Like a pizza, right? Yeah. It's like amazing.
Yeah.
But maybe it's expensive and like it's not very good for you, so you can't just have it constantly. I know, it's just very weird.
Breakdown.
I was like having a breakdown of this when I was younger, and the two things that I think have come the closest to being the perfect thing are decaf tea, right, and the Fairy Glen.
Wow.
So if you have a cup of tea, a decaf tea after the Fairy Glen, you're like your perfect thing maxing there. That's like the perfect day basically. Because right, if you think about decaf tea, there's no downside, or next to near downside.
No, I suppose not.
Like it's healthy.
Yeah.
It's cheap.
Yeah.
It's easy to make.
Yeah.
All you need is like hot water and milk and a tea bag.
And it's not negative to your health?
It's not negative to your health. There's no downside. And it's got no caffeine. So you can just drink like 10 of them in a day.
Whenever you want?
Yeah. So honestly, it's like the closest thing I think I've found to a perfect thing. And then the Glen is like there's no portages.
Yeah.
It's road access.
Yeah.
It runs fairly often.
Yes, it's usually one of the first to come in.
Yeah, first to come in, like last to drop out.
Yeah.
It's mint. Yeah, I know. So I think that's why I love that river so much. Yeah. I love decaf tea as well. I think for those two reasons. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. It is amazing.
Yeah.
Oh, Should we do some quick fire questions?
Go on then, like whap out some quick fire questions.
So-
I feel like we should go for ages. Like we still need to talk so much about philosophy.
Yeah.
So go on, like some quick fire questions would be good.
So this is
As
somewhat.
if people actually ask questions, that's
So
amazing.
these are Danny's.
Oh, these are the
These are the standard ones.
Yeah.
But these are new ones, and
For season
I'll tell you
2.
on this. Yeah.
Sick.
So you're either going to be first on season 2 or second or third, however I reorder the series.
Great.
But these can be quick,
Okay.
or they usually go into 10 minutes and
Yeah.
divert.
Okay, perfect.
But we have got 3 people you'd love to have a pint or a coffee with,
Oh,
dead or alive, whoever you'd like.
could you imagine a pint? Oh, this is going to sound super basic, but imagine a pint with like Socrates, Plato, and Aristotle. I mean, that's very philosophy coded of me. That'd be sick. Maybe I'll take one of them.
Okay.
I think Socrates would be the best to have a
Right.
pint with. Or Diogenes. Do you know about Diogenes?
I don't know.
Oh, right. I'll tell you about Diogenes. Okay. So, like, back in ancient Greece, if you're a philosophy student, you're the first year philosophy student, your favorite philosopher is Diogenes because this dude is like an absolute legend. So, like, back in ancient Greece, right, there was like a big marketplace in like the center of Athens, and Diogenes was like this philosopher, super smart guy. He actually wrote a fair bit, but it's all been lost. Super smart guy, but he lived in a barrel, which is like basically like a homeless person, who just like lived in a barrel in the middle of like the market in Athens. And he had a dog and he had a bull, and those are the only possessions that he owned.
Okay.
And he was a bit of a nutcase. So he used to masturbate in public because he wanted to like show people that like our societal norms about like, or being like shamed for feeling naked or these things. He wanted to show people like that was dumb.
Okay.
He wanted to like test people's expectations. So he would like masturbate in public going around. And then he used to like carry a lamp around and like shine it in people's faces. and like right in the middle of like the night. And when they asked him like, what are you doing? He kept being like, oh, I'm looking for an honest man. Like you did that so much. And there's like a really famous story, a like legendary Diogenes story, that Plato was like lecturing in his he had an academy. It was like a school that he ran, basically. And he was like the most famous academic philosopher of the time. And he ran this like big fancy school. And he'd like wanted to define what a human being was. And he was like, right, like, you know, how are we like animals? Are we like cats? Like, not really. Like we have 2 legs. You know, cats, they seem really, really different from us. He's like, but birds have 2 legs. Like, that's interesting. Like they're bipeds, like, you know, it just means like they're bipedal, they have 2 legs. And he was like, okay, but we don't have feathers. But that kind of works as a definition. He's like, yeah, man is essentially like a featherless biped, right? So we have no feathers and we have 2 legs.
Okay.
Right.
Yeah.
And he's like, that's a definition of man, right? And he's lecturing away to his students in the academy. And then like the door slams open. In comes Diogenes. He has like super long hair. He's looking homeless. He's living in a barrel. He like comes in and he like holds up this like plucked chicken. He just plucked all the feathers out of a chicken, like holds it up, throws it into the middle of the room, and he's like, behold, Plato's man. He's like, this dude is an absolute legend. He's top 10. He's top 10.
So he's in your list.
He's in my list. Yeah. Oh man, this is going to be a long ass list if this is the answer to each one. How many have I got? 3.
3.
Okay, right. Diogenes the dog.
Okay.
Diogenes of Sinope. He's going to be on the list. He would be great. Who else would be great? Oh man, maybe like Liam Green.
Yeah.
I think Liam Green and Diogenes would be a
Imagine
hilarious combination. A hilarious combination. Yeah, that would maybe be really, really good. Or you've got to have a bit of a kayaker in there, right? Who's like a super funky kayaker that I could pick? No, I'm going Liam Green.
Yeah.
Go on then. I like Liam Green chats.
Yeah.
He's very, very funny. And I think him and Diogenes would have a proper whale of a time.
Yeah. I think you'd have a whale of a time.
Yeah. Definitely. And then who else? Maybe my mum.
Yeah.
That would be a wild
Yeah.
pint.
If this happens, can we film it?
Oh, this would be a good podcast. Yeah, this would be a good podcast. Like trying to watch Liam Green like explain a booth to Diogenes would be legendary.
Yeah.
That would be a really good conversation.
And then
So-
your mum chipping in as well.
Yeah. And then my mum just buzzed to be there,
Yeah.
just like super happy to be there. That'd be great. Yeah, that would be really good. Good family memory, I think. So yeah, there you go. There's my three.
Solid answers.
Nice.
Biggest animal you reckon you could take on in a fight and win?
Oh, I used to argue with my friend about this. I thought I could take on his dog. I thought I could beat his dog in a fight.
Okay. What was the dog?
German Shepherd. Maybe I'm being a little bit optimistic there, but I was like, if I've got steel toe cap boots on, you know,
Yeah.
like work boots.
Yeah.
Oh, it's a dog. What's the dog gonna do?
Yeah, as long as it.
I know they're like used in like wars and stuff,
Yeah.
but you've got steel toe cap boots. You can boot anything like 100 yards. that dog's gone.
Fair play.
Okay, right. I could take a dog, a giraffe. Oh, it's big.
Yeah, they're powerful with their necks.
Yeah.
You like whip
And
they
the
hit them.
legs, like, what are you gonna do? You're just gonna hold on to these legs as it's like hitting you. Whale.
How?
Oh, how's it gonna get me?
You're what?
I'm gonna trick it. I'm gonna wait till spring tide, and I'm gonna be like standing in the shallows.
Okay, I see.
Being like, oh, I'm so scared. Come and get me. Come and get me. It's going to like charge me. Be like, yeah, this guy ain't going to do anything to me. Look at the size of me. He's going to like charge onto me.
Yeah.
And I'm like right there, like right as the spring is turning and it's like starting to flow out. He comes, he tries to get me, maybe like touches me a little bit. You know, I can, you know, get off a stiff jab as he comes in, get out of the way. He gets beached. And then that's just a waiting game. I have a fight.
I don't know if we can top that answer
Yeah. That's it. A whale.
because it's huge as well.
It's massive. So it's you know, the biggest animal I can beat in a fight.
Yeah.
There. That's it.
Yeah. Definitely use your brains on that one.
Well, that's the biggest animal ever to exist.
Yeah.
Yeah, a blue whale. Nothing, no dinosaur, nothing was bigger than a blue whale.
I don't have to get a new question for next week.
Well, yeah, that's it done. Everybody's going to pick whale now.
You've won. You've got bacon butties, red sauce, brown sauce, or no sauce.
Right, come on, yeah. For a bacon bite, that's the only choice, I think.
Well, I'm a red man.
Well, yeah,
I
it's
do
not the
appreciate the brown sauce, but
Yeah. I mean, you wouldn't have a brown sauce on, like, I think brown sauce on chips is kind of bold. It's
Yeah.
all right, it's nice.
well, yeah.
But I think red goes much better with chips.
But then cheese and toast with brown sauce, you're not going to have that with red sauce.
Yeah, that's actually really true. Well, then that's, I guess, my point. My point is that they each have their own, you know, avenues, their own spaces, and they can each occupy those spaces. And I think the bacon butty space should be occupied by brown sauce.
Fair play.
Nice.
Awesome. And last question from Danning. If you were a dog, what dog would you be?
I don't know. I'm kind of bad about like saying what type of person I am. Like I'll be like, oh, like I'm this and I'm that, and then people will be like, nah, you're like an idiot. So I don't really know. Maybe that's what dog do you think I would be, and I can do you.
Okay. I think some sort of spaniel.
Yeah.
Bit of energy about you.
Bit of energy.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, this podcast is me just chatting utter crap.
Yeah, it's brilliant.
Okay,
You're
great.
just ready to go. Broth in to go kayaking.
Yeah, that's it. Yeah, I could be a spaniel. I think I could see that. A bit floppy, a bit hairy as well. What dog would you be?
What do you think?
What are those? What are Jack Russell Terriers like? Are they nice? They're like kind of active, quite nice. Oh, maybe the golden retriever.
Yeah.
Yeah,
You think?
I think you're a golden retriever. Yeah, definitely. Ginger. So like already kind of got the
getting
color.
golden.
Yeah, the mustard hat right now as well
It's true.
is definitely giving golden retriever. Also very like amicable,
Okay.
you know. Same with actually little child. I think you're quite similar in that way. in that you have an ability to be friends with lots of people.
I see.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, no one hates a golden retriever.
That's very true. And no one hates a little child, so...
But yeah, that's my point, exactly. So maybe you'd be... And also, golden retrievers aren't lazy.
No, they're pretty active.
They can be like really active and fit. Yeah. I think they just are what you make them, basically. It's most dogs, isn't it?
Yeah.
So I think you're a golden retriever.
Thanks, mate.
No worries, man.
Best compliment I had all day.
Oh, you should definitely take that as a compliment. You've had all day. How many other compliments have you had today?
None. That was...
Oh, right. Well, there you go. That wasn't a very high bar to cross, but whatever.
Oh.
Oh, yeah, man.
So that has broken up the deep chat.
Well, that's broken up the deep chat, but I think we should go straight back at it.
Back to a bit more personal. If you've got any like missions for this season coming ahead, have you got any plans, any projects, any places you want to be?
I kind of like last year, because I'm still in uni, I tend to think of years as being academic years, so like September to September type, rather than January to January. And so last year I had a bunch of like things that I wanted to tick off, and I hadn't really done all that much like big things last academic year, like pre-Christmas last year. I hadn't really done all that much. I had done some stuff down here, but I think I didn't do my first Glen lap until like October, November or something along those lines.
Was your first one when I did it?
No.
You done one before that?
You were I was still in my pink boat. So that was quite late.
No, you did it in your Ninja.
Did I do it in my Ninja, did I? Oh, so I was still Ninja. So that was pre-Norway then.
Yeah.
Interesting. Yeah. No, it wasn't my first one.
Yeah.
But yeah. My first one was it was like pre-Christmas. And then I was like, all right, I've got a bunch of like drops that I wanted to... My goals for last year were very like drop orientated. I was like, I want big like set pieces.
Yeah.
And I've kind of changed a little bit actually. Like I think having got that like froth and like, you know, you kind of think of these things as being unachievable. Oh, that's super loud, but it's all right. Do you want me to stop talking?
Okay, the joys of doing a podcast in a car park.
Yeah, well, exactly. I kind of used to think of like goals as just being drop orientated. And, you know, that's almost a bit of like a value capture. It's like thinking like, oh, the only value in sport can come from like sending it. And I've kind of like gone away from that now. I think I had my fill, and I'm still going to do big drops and like still do big moves. I'm still like really motivated by all that. But, oh my word, it's kicking off in here. I'm still gonna be oh, legend. I'm still motivated by big rapids. Like I definitely still have them, but like lots of my other things are like, I want to do this river in a slalom boat. I want to like record this video, and I want to try like more surf kayaking, like in an actual surf boat.
Okay.
Like want to really learn this.
C1 that.
C1 then.
Nice.
Yeah. I think that would be super, super cool. People have done it, and I want to make it look really nice. Like I want people to see it and be like, oh, that actually looks really enticing. Like I'd like to do that. Yeah. So that's definitely a mission. It's a few of these things. I want to really like focus on improving. I want to focus on like it's funny. I was chatting to Alex Littlechild about this. He was like, oh, like what are your goals? Like what are this and this kind of thing? And I was rewatching a bunch of old YouTube videos. Have you ever seen the old videos Respect the Project and Evil in the Upstream?
No.
Oh, dude, Evil in the Upstream is such a cool name for a YouTube series. But they're basically like these old... It was Robin Bell. And it's like an old C1 paddler from Australia. Or maybe he's from New Zealand. I don't want to get that wrong because that's like calling a Scots person English. But anyway, he's from Oceania. And he basically made these videos where he like interviews a bunch of legends from old school slalom, like asking for their mindsets, asking for their tips, asking for all these kind of things. And one person says, you know, my coach told me there's evil in the upstream, so you don't want to spend much time in there. You want to get in, get out as quickly as possible. And I was like, oh, that's a great quote. And then Tony Estongay, he's like one of like the C1 goats. He's like 3-time Olympic gold medalist, absolute legend, super cool guy, French, very suave, hein, you know, Tony Estongay. And he said in this, he's like, you have to respect the project. And I, like after last year when I was like trying to like run a bunch of big drops and like trying to like push this much, and I was like, oh, maybe like picking up a little injury, like breaking my nose. I was like, what am I doing? What's my project in this sport? And I kind of see my project as being like, I want more people to do C1, and I want to like get to a point where like me and Tessa are like paddling the Marston when we're like with our kids.
Yeah.
Like sunny day on the Marston, me and Tess are there, like both super happy. And if that's my project and I'm to like respect this project, then like I should look for doing things that's going to like help me get there.
Yeah.
So it's not just about like running big waterfalls, because that's not going to help me with this.
No.
You know, it's just going to increase the risk of something bad happening or like of me hurting myself, and that's going to put me out of the sport for like a long period of time, and I don't want that. So it's like, but also I don't want to be there and think, oh, you know, I wish I did more, right?
Yeah.
It's in order to get to that place where I'm like happy, contented, everything, I have to explore my limits. I have to know that I've gone out there and I've done as much as I possibly could, but I have to do it in a way that I'm still going to get there. Like I'm still going to be safe, and I'm still going to be happy, and I'm still going to enjoy the sport. Because, you know, when you're constantly like trying to send things, it's not an enjoyable mindset to be in. Like it can be really stressful. Yeah. And like, you know, if I want to get to that place, and I need to respect that project, and I need to like, you know, work towards it in a healthy way. So yeah, I think that's my goal is to just respect that project.
Respect the project.
Yeah, exactly.
I like that.
Yeah. Dude, you should watch those videos. They're sick.
Yeah, I hope you do.
These old, I'll send you them.
Nice.
They're really cool. And anybody listening, if there's anybody still listening, who knows if there is, they should go on YouTube and they should find those 2 series, because they're mint. Yeah, they're really, really mint. If not just to say that you watched a video called Evil in the Upstream, because that's a really cool.
Yeah, which is a great title as well.
Can you imagine a kayaking edit called Evil in the Upstream?
Yeah.
So good. Yeah, really good. So yeah, that's the goal. You know, it's get to that place, and actually, I do think send can become like, I think send is kind of like an interesting concept in like the philosophy of extreme sport. It's like a niche within the wider like literature on philosophy of sport. They're always talking about risk, and they're talking about like this one guy like Crine, he like defines a nature sport, which I think is actually a really interesting concept. He like, well, actually, here we go. Like, let's just do philosophy. Like, how would you define like a nature sport? Or do you think there's any distinction between kayaking in the way that we do it now, like on the D or whatever, and like badminton?
If there's a difference?
Yeah.
I think the risk side of it's different.
Yeah.
Like the ratio of having fun to getting injured. Especially if you put anyone in those environments. Anyone who've never touched a badminton racket and a shuttlecock, probably not going to get hurt.
Yeah.
Stick them on the D, they might get hurt.
Yeah. I think that's very
I think it's injury and danger almost.
Yeah, the risk. That's actually interesting that you say that as well, because so this guy Crine, he's like the distinction between like badminton, a sport like badminton, and a sport like kayaking or like big backcountry skiing or like mountain biking, is he's like so some of those are nature sports. When you play badminton, your active participant, the person that's like playing the sport with you, is a person. Right. So when you play tennis, the active participants are all people. The net doesn't move.
Yeah.
Right. The court is the same no matter where you go in the world. When you play hockey, the active participants are the people on your team, the people on the other team. The referee might be an active participant. But when you do like a nature sport, the active participant becomes the nature.
Yeah.
Like becomes if you're mountain biking, the trail. If you're like backcountry skiing, it's like the features of the mountain. For us, it's the river.
Yeah.
Right. And like the river becomes the active participant. And I actually think that's a really interesting, a really nice way of characterizing the distinction between something like badminton. It's not to say that one is better than the other. It's just that they're different. And it's a nice way of like characterizing distinction, because like quite often we like anthropomorphize the river, right? We like say it's like, oh, like, you know, it's like beautiful today, right? We're like using terms that you would usually use for like a person.
Yeah.
And it's because you end up having this like sensation of like connecting with the river in a special way, because like the river is an active participant.
Yeah.
You're not just going there and like and using it like a tennis court. You're like playing with it. You're like it's active in your experience of the sport.
Yeah, you're going with it.
Yeah.
You're not going against it.
Yeah. And it's funny that you said risk, because lots of people responded to this dude and were like, yeah, that's a really nice way of characterizing this, but you're like forgetting the risk. And they think that the risk is like integral to the sport. A nature sport like has to involve risk.
I don't think it's integral.
Okay.
But I think it's something that can't be not thought about.
Yeah, okay.
Like the risk on an environment that doesn't change, you can find all the risks, write them down, and that's what your risks.
Yeah.
And then the risks that happen in our environment, it's always changing, even if it's the same river.
Yeah.
The different level is different. Day, light, the trees down, something's changed. I think in an environment that moves, that creates risk. Like backcountry skiing, you're on untouched snow, you don't know what's going to happen, what's been there.
Yeah.
I think that side of it.
Yeah, it's kind of like, it's almost like you're taking ownership of the risk in a way.
I think you have to, yeah.
Which this kind of gets onto why I don't think, or like some people have an aversion towards like whitewater parks. Like lots of people love them, but like some people think that like, oh, you know, if you spent your entire life kayaking on Lee Valley, you'd be probably really good, but you are missing something maybe. And I think there's like an interesting thing with like to do with the nature, and then to do with the risk. I guess if you define like a nature sport as like the environment becomes an active participant, the river is still like the artificial river is still like an active participant.
Yeah.
But like the wider environment kind of isn't. It's like this, it's more sanitized. Yeah. It's safer.
And
maybe it's risk.
Features don't change, but
the features don't change. Yeah. And also if you get hurt on a white water course, you have to sign a form before you get on. Yeah. Right? Because there's like an expectation in a way that like the white water course is safe to use.
Exactly.
So then you're not taking ownership of the risk. Like the risk is done by someone else. And I think there's like a little bit of a difference if you like, if you go on like a climbing course and, you know, somebody's teaching you to climb, then they're taking on a lot of the risk, right? So there's like a bit of a difference. You're not like, maybe you are doing the sport and you're doing the sport in like a really good way. But you're not like taking on a lot of the risk. And I think that's what makes it really special when you go out and you do it by yourself, right? As in like you're taking ownership of the risk. And I think that is like a fairly integral part to the sport. I think as well as it is why we often value like big expedition kayaking. Because like that's like extreme risk ownership.
You're on your own with your team. Yeah.
And it's, you know, when we're kayaking on the D, like we get off and just go home. Like there's no really risk involved in that. But like there is when you're like doing an expedition. Yeah. You're taking on a big amount of risk. And I think maybe that's why we value it so hard, is because risk is like fairly integral to our sport. Yeah. And this way of doing the sport is like kind of where you're like taking ownership of the most amount of risk possible in a way.
Although I do find that I don't chase the risk. Yeah. I don't, this is risky, I'm going to do this. Yeah. I like how we were talking about the send attitude of almost being scared and feared of the sport. Yeah. I like it once when I was first on the Glen, very scared. Yeah. Now I like it because I'm enjoying it and I can work on it and I can have different lines in my head and play on it effectively. Yeah. I'll enjoy that, which is, again, it's still risky. I've kind of taken ownership, got confident, know where's bad, knows where's good. Yeah. And so do you think risk and like send, lots of times I hear people talking, and this is kind of like a discussion that always goes on in like kayaking magazines or like outdoor magazines, is they'll say like, oh, you shouldn't go out there and chase, or you shouldn't think that sending things is fundamental to the sport. Like there's a way of enjoying the sport without having that. Do you think that's true, or do you think
they're like sending, in any way, like is fundamental to the actual sport that we do.
I think it's a personal choice because there's people that will have never left a white water course.
Yeah.
And they've learned on a white water course and they're happy with it and they do it once a week and they live in London and they love it.
Yeah.
And they fit in that bubble fine. And then there's people like us that want to almost be different and maybe have the first line like this, and it's a creative sport and it can bring creativity out of people. And I think I definitely fall in that category of not trying to do the hardest thing, but maybe just trying to do something different and pick it like that, if that makes sense.
Yeah. I do know what you mean. But do you think that kind of involves a bit of like, no matter what, I often think about this with Tessa, and this isn't like a well thought through thing. This isn't like a really formal thought that I have. It's kind of more of an intuition at this point. But like when I paddle with Tess, like often we'll do something that, if she's running the Morstan, she's like wanting to improve and she like goes up to the top and like she's going to run the right hand side. Like that for her is like really sending. Whereas for other people, maybe it's not like a big send. And I kind of see send then in that way as like, it's almost committing to the unknown in a certain way, right?
Yeah.
As in you get really comfortable paddling on flat water. But when you're a beginner, you get really comfortable paddling on flat water. And then you see someone surfing a wave or like crossing the current. You're like, oh, that looks really cool. I kind of want to go over there and do that. But you have no real idea how to do this.
And that's the unknown.
And the first time that you do it, you just have to commit to the unknown.
I see a flashing light, so I'm going to check what that means. So we don't miss any.
We're back.
Back to it.
Where did we get to? We're talking about like send as being fundamental to the sport.
Yeah, and the philosophy of it.
Yeah, and so this is the thing, I guess. This is the point that I wanted to try and make and then like gauge your opinion on. Because again, like I said, this isn't like a well-structured thing. This is kind of more of an intuition. Is that I wonder when people say that, you don't have to send it, that what they have in mind is a definition of send as paddling big waterfalls. And I would agree with that. You definitely don't have to paddle big waterfalls to either one, be like great at canoeing or just to do canoeing. Like you don't have to do that, right? But then if you like see send as this idea of like committing to the unknown, there's like the point when you're learning a skill or when you're doing something or like trying to play that you're like, I've got a vague idea of what I'm going to try and do, but let's send it and see what happens. Like, I think that is fairly fundamental. I think if you want to improve, like from even when you're like first pick up a paddle and you get in your boat and you're trying little eddy crosses and this kind of thing, like this moment of committing to the unknown and just kind of finding out what happens, you get like a little bit of a buzz. And it's that idea of like learning that new thing that at some point you're going to have to commit to that. And so I guess the point I'm trying to make is when I hear people say like, you don't have to send it to do the sport. I think you do, but that's not a bad thing.
No.
As in, if you think of send as this moment where you like commit to the unknown in some kind of safe capacity or like fairly safe capacity, and you see that, then you can be like, yeah, not only is send like an important part of our sport, but actually it's a really nice part. We don't have to see it as a bad word. We can, and some people like Zach Mutton, his unknown is like ridiculous. Like he's not being like, oh, I wonder what's going to happen if I like try to do a front loop here. He's being like, I wonder what's going to happen if I try to do a front flip off a waterfall. Yeah. Right. And so we like see that him sending it in that way and being like, whoa, that's crazy. But it can be anything. It can be just like today. Oh my God, I got such a buzz. I was trying freestyle. Like that was like the second time I've tried it. And it was so much fun, but it was scary. Like I was like in these waves trying to like, try to do like a front flip or something. And I have no idea what I'm doing. I'm just like trying to copy what I think people would do based on videos I've seen. And yeah, there is that buzz you get from just being like, right, don't know what's going to happen. And the consequences are fine. Like, there's always a bit of risk involved, but it doesn't matter. let's send it and find out.
Yeah.
And that's great. Yeah, it was so much fun.
But I think sending is relative
Yeah.
to the person.
Yeah.
Like with Zach Matten throwing stuff off waterfalls, he's pushing it, but he's worked up to get there.
Yeah.
It's not any old person who's trying to do what he's trying to do.
That's very true.
I don't like someone has told me that someone was talking about me that I'm being a bit sendy this year, which I don't really know the person. And if they knew me personally, they would probably change their opinion. I don't feel like I'm being sendy for the sake of sending. I'm pushing it to try and get better at kayaking, but via my ability and my progress jump rather than pushing it too high. So I do think relative to the person and what they're trying to do and what they have done, especially with the unknown, is everybody's unknown is different. But the more and more things you do that are unknown, the less there is that are unknown.
I think that's a really important point, and a point that was missed in my explanation prior to your mentioning it, in that if you, I think that's great. Like imagine, do you know that lady that, was it Harriet? Was it Harriet? I can't remember her second name though. She went off Niagara Falls in a barrel.
Oh, right.
You not heard?
I didn't know it was a lady. I thought it was a man.
No, it's a lady. I think loads of people have done it actually. Dude,
really?
Some dude C1'd off it in a slalom boat. I'm not making that up. He died.
Oh,
I mean, I just wanted to laugh, but yeah, he died. Like he just got on above the falls
with the intention to do it, or
I don't know. I don't know if anybody knows that.
Wow.
But like, yeah, he just got on above in like a fiberglass old school C1 slalom boat and just like went off the Niagara Falls.
Wow.
Yeah, crazy. C1 first descent. There you go. That's a proper C1 first descent. Dude, just send Niagara, and it's like that would be a killer episode of slalom on steroids.
Yeah. Yeah. Last move.
Yeah. Your last slalom of all time. But yeah, that is a great point. Is in that if you're trying to talk about send as being like healthy, and like how you can conceptualize send in a healthy way, then presumably going off Niagara Falls in a barrel is not a healthy understanding of send.
No, I suppose it's not something you've worked up to.
Exactly.
Unless you've gone off other waterfalls in a barrel.
Well, yeah, but that's true. Maybe if
started at right angle and working your way up.
Honestly, I'd be all for that. If she's like, look, I've done Marston, Chip Shop, I've nailed all these classics, like I've worked my way up and it's time for Niagara, I'd be like, all right, okay, fine. Yeah. Like this is crazy.
I hope there's a few more on the list.
Yeah. I wouldn't go Chip Shop to Niagara. I know, I'd squeeze in a few more. I'd maybe do the Fallow and then you're probably after that. But yeah, you're so right. Is if you're trying to conceptualize. And again, I think that's why I like the freestyle so much, in that although for me, it was like so new and like kind of scary. I was like, wow, this is mad. I've worked up to get there. Like I've got a confident role and like I'm able to be in a situation where I can like step into this like space of the unknown, like commit to this unknown maneuver, but I can commit to it with the risk being relatively low.
Yeah. And like going on the Glen. It's not a problem that you're on a C1. It might be a problem if it was your first time white water in a C1 convert kayak.
Yeah.
But it's not you've worked up to what you're doing.
Yeah. So then I guess you need like a caveat in there, as in like, you know, so then maybe a healthy conception of send is like committing to the unknown, or like committing to a maneuver whose success relies on like an unknown procedure.
Yeah.
However, it's one in which like the likelihood of success is determined is determined in a significant way by your prior experience.
Yeah.
In that, and then maybe that caveat is going to prevent you being like Harriet going off Niagara. Like her success is not determined by her prior experience; it's just luck. Like,
yeah.
As in, but if she had like worked up to this and like developed techniques to survive being in a barrel going down waterfalls, then the success is determined by her prior experience. Something along those lines, I think, is a really healthy way of like conceptualizing this area of our sport that quite often gets like poo-pooed.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I like the unknown point of that. I think that's the key point.
Yeah, I think that's the key point.
I've not thought about it before, but it makes sense. Like you might see someone that's being a bit sendy doing some big waterfalls, but if they're in a country that's full of waterfalls and they've only done waterfall kayaking, it's not actually that sendy.
No.
Whereas I've not done many waterfalls because there's not many in this country.
Yeah.
Me doing a waterfall is more sendy than them doing a really big waterfall that they've done their whole life. Yeah. Waterfalls.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, absolutely. And like, Becky doing our front loop, like, that's not a problem. That's like, whereas me, I'm like, oh my God, this is crazy. Yeah. So, yeah, exactly. That's it. It's like committing to the unknown. It's not necessarily the risk, because the risk involved is always going to be high with a big waterfall.
Yes.
But like a nuclear engineer that's got to turn on a reactor, right? And he's got to press a bunch of buttons in a sequence. The risk involved is like, cataclysmic, but it's not sendy.
No, yeah, so I don't think you can use risk as the...
No, it's not just risk. No, it's got to be something more. Yeah.
Yeah, I like that.
Yeah. I mean, I've been trying to like think about that. I think it'd be cool to like write something about that.
Yeah.
I wrote about I actually wrote a paper on, here's Becky now. Speak of the devil. And actually, I was literally just about to say, I was writing a paper on, or I have written, who knows if it's any good, my supervisor will give me some feedback on it. It's about feminism in sport.
Okay.
Right? There's this thing, and I want to hear your opinion on this. There's this idea in the feminist philosophy, and it's called testimonial injustice. Okay. And the main idea is by Miranda Fricker. She basically says, right, people can, when we talk, we are like giving testimony. It sounds very formal, but just testimony is just like speaking, essentially.
Okay.
And there can happen this like phenomenon whereby someone's testimony is judged not on the content of the information that they're delivering, but on prejudices associated with the social group that person belongs to. Let me give you an example.
Okay.
I walk in, or someone walks into like a bank, I don't know, and they say, I've got like financial advice about this, about that. And, a lady that works in the bank starts giving, financial advice. And the guy's a bit sexist, right? So he's like,
okay,
I don't know about this, I don't know about that, right? And like, Fricker says that it's not just a case of, it's not just insulting and like sexist, right? She thinks it's something more. And the thing that she thinks is like specific and like unique about this example is that the content of the testimony that the lady has delivered is being devalued. Right. And it's being devalued not on the actual content of what she said, not on the information that she's like given. It might be really great financial advice, but it's being devalued based on a prejudice against her social group. Right. She's a lady. So it's based on like a sexist prejudice. Right. And she thinks that this isn't just harmful in that it's kind of insulting. She thinks it's harmful in that it like she calls it she says it like insults or damages, it's a harm to one's ability as an epistemic agent, right? So like epistemology is like the study of knowledge. And if you're like an epistemic agent, you're like someone that's able to give knowledge, right? Okay. So you're like and you can be credible epistemic agents and you can be like a non-credible epistemic agent. If I was to like ask you about like welding boats, I don't know, I see you as being very good at welding boats. Maybe that's not true, right? But if I was to ask you, be like, all right, like, mate, how do I weld this? And you gave me like testimony about it, I would see you as a very credible epistemic agent here. You know a lot about it, right?
Okay.
And it's in your interest, it's in our interest as epistemic agents to be taken seriously. You know, it's like a human interest for our like testimony to be taken seriously and for us to be able to exercise our ability as epistemic agents. And Miranda Fricker says that there's this thing that happens against people of different social groups where they're like they're harmed in their ability as an epistemic agent based on the prejudice, right? And I wonder how this applies to sport.
Okay.
And like the key point that I think I'm like trying to make when I like in my paper is essentially that in sport we have a weird thing where one's credibility can often become tied directly to one's ability. Okay. So I'm like,
I see what you're saying.
How do I, we met up for the RS paddles thing. It was super, super fun. I was in a freestyle boat for the first time, and there was a bunch of other people in freestyle boats, right? And Becky is like, I'm really, really good at freestyle, okay? And so I say, how do I do this, right? Because she's really, really good at freestyle. And so I see, because her ability in the sport is really high, her epistemic credibility must also be really high. She must know a lot about it, right? So I ask her. And essentially, so yeah, this is it basically. You have a tie between, or at times you have a tie between epistemic credibility and ability. But now you have a weird thing when you introduce like prejudice, okay? So like the highest waterfall ever run in a kayak is higher for the men's record than it is for the female record, okay?
Mm-hmm.
And if you think of ability as being this like linear, almost like objective kind of thing, like, you know, the person that runs the higher waterfall is better, or the person that's like able to do more tricks and like in the freestyle wave, or able to get the fastest run in the slalom course. You know, if you think they're better, then what you end up with is you end up saying that like the highest performing female athlete is not as good as the highest performing male athlete. They don't have the same level of ability. The male athlete is able to do things that the female athlete isn't able to do. I don't know if this is actually true, but lots of, like when football people talk about this, like football hooligans will be like, oh, the female game is rubbish.
Yeah.
Because they think that and whenever you ask them for justification, they're always like, oh, well, the men's team would beat the female team. They think like the ability. Yeah, it's like they're just basically relying on this idea that the men have more ability than the female. Okay, so if you put your head in like if you imagine being like someone that's prejudiced, like one of these people, and now you ask them, okay, we need some pundits to talk about football. Okay, so we're looking for people with lots of epistemic credibility.
Yeah,
who are they going to pick? They already think that epistemic credibility
comes from
ability. And they constantly devalue female ability. So then they're going to also constantly devalue female credibility.
Just because they devalue the ability.
Just because they devalue the ability.
Okay.
So you end up in sport with this like weird situation where, because you have like a tie between credibility and ability, that you're like giving this like widespread, or it's like, it's not like me giving this, it's more like it could be like a societal phenomenon that's worth exploring, is that there's like a widespread testimonial injustice against people who are seen to be not as good. What do you think?
Yeah, I've not thought about it from their credibility comes from their ability. But it's, especially in our sport, that it's not competitive, and it's not gauged off they're the fastest, they've done the high, or what I do isn't done. I don't race, I'm not chasing the biggest waterfalls, I'm not in a leaderboard with anyone. It is just going and paddling with my friends that are at the same ability as me. It's hard to relate it into that, if that makes sense.
Yeah, definitely.
But I can see if it was on a leaderboard and like you're racing and your slalom, it's hard to make the correlation between them.
Yeah. I think the examples that I use are of football, because I think it is very prevalent in football, because like sadly there's still so much prejudice associated with that game. But yeah, I see this mostly as happening when people are like, oh, you know, females shouldn't be pundits. It's because they're like, and whenever you ask them to justify this, they're like, oh yeah, well, they're just not as good as the men are at the sport. But then so what I say, well, the obvious thing is that ability doesn't lead to credibility.
Yeah.
Like, I always thought this, when I was younger, I watched my coach swim out of his boat. And this like shook me. I was like, how is that possible?
Yeah, because you think they're like, because they're teaching you. And I used to think in primary school that teachers just knew everything.
Dude, they
have to know everything to be a teacher.
Yeah, exactly. You're like, and then when they're like, I don't know, when they like have to cover a lesson in maths.
Yeah.
And you're like, oh wait, what? This guy doesn't know much about maths. This is crazy. But yeah, I remember watching my coach swim, and I was like, it like shook me to the core. I was like, but this dude's a legend. But then you just realize you're like, oh, he knows like almost everything that there is to know about this sport.
Yeah.
And I have more ability than him, but that's fine.
Yeah.
That's possible. And I think that's nice. And I think seeing that, like really driving a wedge between those two and seeing one as being helpful for the other. And you can easily get credibility by being good. You have to know at least something about the sport if you are good, but it doesn't have to work the other way around.
And also experience can, like the time doing the sport, I think that makes the jump from like intermediate to expert in any gender, whatever it is.
Yeah.
I don't think you can be an expert, the elite, whatever the highest is, without doing it for 10, 20 years.
Yeah.
So, like, there's kids that are really, really good, but I wouldn't call them an expert because they just haven't done it for that long.
Yeah. They haven't seen that many situations.
Yeah, but when you think of these old legends that have done everything and almost seen all of the bad scenarios, and that's when I think expert comes. So like time in a boat or in whatever industry you're cracking on with.
I think that's so true. And I actually think that's like when I talked to my sister about this topic, because she really helped me, is that she finds it's helpful then to be a female coach, in that she's like, you know, it doesn't matter that this person can be faster than me or can do a more difficult maneuver than I can. Yeah. Like I know more than them.
Exactly.
And I'm able to coach them.
Yeah.
Anyone that like says differently is essentially just like, you know, attempting badly to justify their prejudice.
Yeah. And any performance coaching in any industry, the coach, like the athlete's always better than the coach.
Yeah.
Because the coach should be the athlete.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. It's like the best, you know, the person that does like the hardest snowboarding trick, their coach isn't just like automatically the world champion. Yeah, exactly. Yeah. So no, I find that really interesting. It's like the separation, and I think when you separate that as well, it can help you, like really, like if somebody you meet is like really amazing at the sport and they say something that you kind of disagree with, it doesn't mean that you don't know anything, even though they might be better than you.
Yeah.
Like your disagreement with them, like over a technique or over like how to best to do something or how to like conceptualize something.
Especially in a creative sport.
Well, that's very true.
Like personalized to what you want to make it.
Yeah.
And like we were talking about the C1 earlier. Oh no, I don't know if a C1 can go down this river. Everything seems to be impossible until someone does it, and then everyone does it.
Yeah, exactly. So yeah, I was trying to work on that, but I don't know. It's really far removed from my actual main area of like philosophy research, and so I find it quite hard to do. But who knows? Hopefully I can do something with it, and hopefully people actually like find it useful. I think that I quite like philosophy that does that. Philosophy that's actually useful in some capacity.
Okay.
Yeah.
Like that.
Yeah. Otherwise it just feels like you're talking about nothing, basically. It's just like people are like, what do you do? Like, what's the point of this?
Yeah.
I like it when you can be like, oh look, actually it can like really
benefit
help you.
people.
Yeah, exactly. It can like help like really like give a nice formal framework to like attack a problem.
Yeah.
And that's helpful. Yeah. And that's helpful.
I like that. That leads us on to a question.
All right, shoot.
Becky sent us.
Oh yeah.
So I'll do some questions that we've had been sent in. Dolly.
Again, mad that people send in questions.
That's
cool.
crazy, isn't it?
Did you get many?
We had quite a few.
That's awesome.
I got loads of the basic ones like, where's the other half of your paddle gone? Where are your legs?
Dude, I always thought if you like didn't have the bottom part of your legs, being a C1 is the natural move.
But would it be?
I think so.
But surely
if you're
using like your calves and the knee joint as leverage and
yeah, definitely. But maybe you could have like a diagonal sloping bit of foam, and then you just strap your legs to it.
Maybe.
Like if and hopefully I don't have the bottom parts of my legs amputated, I think I'm like lucky that I've done C1.
Yeah.
Sorry, carry on with the question. That's a very rogue thought to interject there.
Oh, and a little side note.
Oh yeah.
We use our feet a lot in kayaking, pressing and leaning and stomping. What, do you do anything with your feet? Or
No, not with my feet. They're usually numb.
hips? Was it just hips you're doing front of boat movement?
Like hips and knees, yeah.
Okay.
Like the main points of like contact. Like when I stomp, I had to try learn how to stomp, but I just imagine like shoving my knees down.
As if you had feet to go.
As if I had feet, yeah, basically. Yeah. Shove the phantom limbs down. Just
I like the double tap on the spray deck, I think.
the double down.
Oh. Right. So Becky says, how do you relate your PhD studies to your personal life, your mindset, or your outlook while kayaking?
I think like we said there, it's that a nice thing I like about like philosophy is it makes you like structure your thoughts in like a clear way. And I like that. I find that helpful for me. I find that helpful if I'm like in if I have like an irrational like reaction to something, or like a intuitive like reaction to something. Like we were talking about send, I would like listening to podcasts, but I disagree with that. And then, you know, philosophy helps you be like, why? Why do you disagree with that? Pick a point, pick apart their argument, like restructure it, and then basically be like, okay, what part of this do you disagree with? And then you can attack from that. And I think it helps like psychologically as well sometimes. And like loads of like philosophy YouTube videos are really, really popular. And I think that's from people being like using it to like help them with like, I don't know if it's like a mental health thing or if it's something along those lines. And it's like, it's because they're like trying to figure out a way of like structuring their thought in like a clear way so that they can help themselves. We're getting like paparazzi'd here by Becky.
I definitely didn't just text her this together on the old Instagram.
Oh, right. I'm actually answering your question right now, Becky. Yeah, well, there we go.
You've been mentioned many times on this episode.
Well, yeah, exactly. We've been talking about your freestyle boat. So yeah, I guess that's it. It's just like exactly what we've been talking about. It's like trying to explore things and really trying to like conceptualize them and like go for it. Yeah. I don't know, maybe that sounds pretentious.
No, I like that.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, excellent. Yeah.
And it's nice that you can relate your studies into it as well.
Yeah, definitely. But to be honest, I think loads of people can. Like, I really like that. I stumbled across, someone did a PhD on slalom kayaking.
Oh, really?
Like, stumbled across it. Yeah, it was really interesting. Like, read it. It was like, it was psychology. And like lots of the psychological stuff like went over my head. Obviously, it's like PhD in not my area. So I was like, whoa, this is cool. But yeah, it's amazing. I like it when people do that. When they like apply different, because we've all got different skills. I like that about the kayaking community is you kind of have one of everything. Like there'll be like a joiner that's like a paddler, and there's like, oh, there's a lawyer that's a paddler. It's like, oh, now it's like there's a philosophy guy that's a paddler. Like I quite like that.
That's cool.
I like it that everybody comes at it with their different aspects, like their different expertise. You know?
Yeah, I like that. Especially that in this industry, no one is just a kayaker or canoeist. There's no money in the sport to make it. We're all doing something else.
Oh man, I know. That's another thing that I'm like, I despair about doing philosophy because I'm like, why did I like specialize in things that nobody cares about? Like I do,
Well, it's very niche.
C1 whitewater kayaking. Whitewater kayaking is already a tiny sport, and I'm like, no, I'm gonna go more niche than that. Yeah. And then I'm like, oh, philosophy. You know, what philosophy jobs are there? I was like, specialize in things that there's no opportunity for making any money in. My parents are like, what are you doing with your life?
You like a challenge.
Yeah, exactly. There we go.
Oh, that was bomber. We'll go for a few more questions before my phone dies. La-di-da-di-da. So we've got, how do you care for your luscious locks?
Oh.
Have you got a routine or is it?
I used to use Head and Shoulders and Scan.
Is it?
Big Scan.
I use Head and Shoulders.
Do you?
Yeah.
I think you're addicted.
Why?
Right. And Tessa told me this. I was using Head and Shoulders And because I was like, I gotta get dandruff. And I was like, gotta use
No,
Head and
I don't get
Shoulders.
dandruff, but the advert even says it's not for people that have
It's not for people that have dandruff.
Exactly.
So I was like, well, Head and Shoulders is the only thing that stops me having dandruff.
Okay.
And then Tessa was like, no, you're just addicted to it.
Because they've told you that.
Yeah, because when I stop using it, dandruff would come back.
Wow.
And so I then have to keep using it. And Tess was, and then when we went down the Grand Canyon, it's like 3 weeks, no Head and Shoulders. I came out the other end, no dandruff, and it was solved. And now I don't wash my hair. I never wash it.
Well, that's the secret.
Is that crazy?
Well, I was speaking about this with someone last night. Do I wash my hair and do I not?
Yeah.
Because I like the feeling when it's not washed.
Yeah.
And you just wash it with water.
Yeah. Just wash it with water. It's fine. Yeah, that's it. That's it. So
Awesome.
I'm a big fan of that.
You've heard it there here. We've got, what's your favourite river and why?
Oh,
Of all time, you got to pick one.
I think it's Stanley.
Yeah.
Yeah, on the Tay, the section at Stanley. And there's just so many amazing memories there. Like, I think it was like 2 Christmases ago. I was like on Christmas, maybe it was Christmas Eve. But me, my mum, my dad, and my sister are surfing one wave.
That's special.
That's special. It's like me, my sister, and my dad are in C1 as well. My mum's like chilling in a kayak, and we're like, this is, yeah. You just can't beat that, I think. No matter what sensation you get from a river, like a move or this or that, like nothing gets close to that. That's
Surfing, sharing a wave with someone.
yeah. And now like Tessa can join as well, and it's like, oh, this is dreamy. Yeah,
That's special.
Yeah.
We've got, what's the oddest C1 you've ever paddled?
I have Dragarossi fish as a
Okay.
C1.
That's cool.
That's super cool. I bought that from Connor Proud. And that's a really weird C1.
I bet.
I also converted a Necky Rip to a C1 for a while ago.
Okay.
But I actually just converted it back to kayak because I didn't like it that much. But that was a really weird C1. Yeah, that was funky. But yeah, I think maybe those are the 2 weirdest C1s. I want to do a perception pirouette.
Oh, I had one.
Did you?
Yeah.
Mate, you've
That's up in Scotland, actually.
Is it?
Yeah, I sold that to someone up in Scotland.
Oh, Vito.
Yeah, that's
Did
my
you
old
tell
one.
the Vito? That's your. Oh man, yeah. I saw him. You rocked up at McLaren's with that, and I was like, "That is awesome." Yeah, super cool.
That's
I think
awesome.
that would be a killer C1. Along like that on the Marston or like here would be so good. Yeah, so good.
Big tailies.
Yeah, big tailies, like super old school. I wanted like go do like an old school like etive day with some mates. Everybody in old school boats.
Yeah, and film it on an old camera as well.
Old gear.
Yeah.
Be so
Be class.
yeah, motorbike helmet. My dad actually has an amazing story. He did the first descent of, it might have been the Tilt. I always get confused. It's the Tilt or the Perthshire Blackwater.
Okay.
This is like way back in the day. And they like borrowed a bunch of boats from like Dundee Uni. It was like him, Andy Jackson, and a bunch of other people. And his mate, maybe it's Ali Bean. I don't know. I can't remember. But his mate, they were all paddling it in like motorbike helmets. And his mate had like a full face motorbike helmet. He like he fell in, like rolled up. But the problem was the motorbike helmet filled up with water. So it weighs like 10 kilograms. He was like trying to paddle. His head's like running side to side. It's like having a 5 kilogram barbell on your head while you're trying to kayak.
That's bad.
It's mad, isn't it? I love those stories. Back in the day. He also said that he paddled the Falls of Lenny in a fiberglass boat and the nose like perfectly split off. And so they like didn't know what to do. So all he did is he broke the nose cone off basically, turned it round and then shoved it back in. It's basically got like an indent on the front of your boat just plugging all the way.
Spoon.
Yeah.
I like that. And last question. This is from Mr. Reese Marsden.
Oh, no way.
And I've been asking him all day yesterday what the question means. And it goes, you'll know.
Okay.
So, what's your opinion on double Glen goggles?
Oh. I think that they're underrated.
Okay.
I think that they have a bad rep from eye doctors, an unjustified bad rep from eye doctors. I don't think that there's any problem with double Glen goggles.
Yeah.
And I also think if you triple crown it, like, no, that's the dream.
Okay.
Just don't show pictures of it to an eye doctor. There you go. And now you don't understand the answer either.
No. We keep it like that?
Only people that went on the Butte weekend will understand the answer there.
We'll keep it like that.
So there we go.
I see. Awesome. Happy days. And that is, we'll do one more.
Okay.
Favourite river snack?
I don't bring any on the river. I know. I'm so useless with this. Dude, like, just like coffee and in the morning, and then like don't eat, and then get like deliriously hungry during the river trip.
Yeah.
And then like get really annoyed as you're getting off because you're too hungry to like control your emotions, and then have food. This isn't, I wouldn't say that that's the best way of approaching kayaking, but that tends to be the way I do it.
I see.
Which is not a very good way of doing it.
No.
No. That was like all of Norway. It was just like waking up late, tanning a coffee, and then spending all day like freezing cold.
Wanting food.
Wanting food, yeah. Paddling things that you're scared of. Mum's like, how's the holiday? I was like, oh, it's honestly awful.
Mad.
Yeah, there we go. Are you going to go to Norway?
I don't know about this year, but I do need to get to Norway.
Wow, yeah, I know. I was saying
Lots
that
of
to you.
people have said.
I've already asked that question to you.
Yeah.
It seems like everybody in like British kayaking is going there next year.
Yeah,
Everybody
like
I've met to is like, oh, we're going.
Yeah.
We're like, we're going to take over. It's going to be an invasion. It's crazy. It's old school.
It looks incredible out there.
I think it's like, it's just like a better Scotland.
Yeah.
A Scotland that's just been a Scotland/North Wales/ Lake District that's just been turned up.
Yeah. Pumping.
Yeah, exactly. To 10. Yeah, I think that's cool. I think that's my like favorite place to paddle. Maybe.
Is it?
Favorite country, definitely.
Wow.
It's like just everything goes, everything's clean. Yeah, nothing's got an asterisk. Kayaking in the UK is everything has an asterisk.
Yes. There's always something else on them.
Yeah.
Something that's gonna stop you having that perfection.
Yeah. Or stop you like just being able to do whatever you want. Like chip shop is like, oh yeah, I could try like a back freewheel here, but then there's like a nasty slot afterwards and like this and that, and you're just like, but not that nasty.
No.
If you ask Dave Stack and Tim, then it's a nasty slot.
It is a horrible slot.
Well, yeah, exactly. If you're paddling it too low, if you're paddling on the Butte, then yeah. Oh, dearie me. How long have we been going for?
Oh, we've been going for some time.
We could keep going if you want.
Let's keep on going. I'm enjoying this.
What else could we talk about?
Grand Canyon. Let's talk about the Grand Canyon.
Oh, yeah.
Because that looked like an experience.
I think that's one of the best experiences you can do in life. I wouldn't even say it's like a kayaking holiday. I was like so lucky to be able to go, man. It was so cool with my whole family. And like Tessa was there as well and everything. And yeah, you just like drop in. This is actually something I've kind of noticed as I've like, during the PhD, that I actually think that I have like a bit of ADHD or something. And I never really realized when I was in my undergrad or in school, right? In that like, excuse me, the way I used to like revise for my exams is I just like wouldn't until it got like really, really close to the deadline. And then I would like use the threat of failure as like leverage over my brain, as in like my brain needed leverage in order to like sit down and like work at the thing. And so I think I developed this like unhealthy, and apparently this is very common for other like people that struggle with ADHD or something along these lines, is that they develop like a really unhealthy like coping mechanism to cope with like the lack of or like the difficulty with concentration, in that you use the threat of failure as leverage over yourself. And when I was doing slalom, it's like, you know, I really would struggle to like sit down and like study film and like, you know, try and pick out the techniques and stuff, because it's like my brain's constantly being like, oh, let's go, like what can I do, like on to the next thing. And I would use the threat of failure, being like, you're gonna like, if you don't do this, you're not gonna do well at slalom.
Yeah.
I would use that as leverage over myself, and that would like give me like this negative drive to then sit down and do it. And like during all of school and like my undergrad, it's because you have like essays like period, and my master's, like you have essays like periodically timed, that like you use the essay as like a threat against your brain to be like, nope, if you don't do this, you're going to fail. So sit down and do it. And so studying becomes a very like negative thing. Whereas with the PhD, because it's like a longer drawn out process, this idea of like the threat of failure is like, it's so much further away. I only have one deadline, and it's like, you know, when I first started, it was 3.5 years away. And so you can't really use it as leverage. So I was constantly kayaking. I was like constantly running around kayaking, like repairing my house, like doing loads of things, because like just like in like a really like ADHD space, because I no longer had that that leverage over myself. And so like I've recently been trying to like figure out a way of actually like having a healthy way of concentrating, instead of just relying on this like coping mechanism. I actually like develop a way to deal with this like lack of an ability to just like sit down and study, like to deal with it in a way that doesn't feel horribly negative, and that doesn't rely on like the threat of failure to do that. I don't know, do you have anything like that?
I'm exactly the same as you.
Really? You think so?
For all like homework, studying, I'm not very active at making that. I always left it to the end.
Yeah.
And then the fear and the panic makes you get it done.
Yeah.
I couldn't do it all at the start of the school holidays.
Yeah, no
But
way.
then get it out of the way. I do all the fun, and then the last week just have so much regret of why didn't I just do it?
Yeah. I know. And that's the thing. It's like, but nobody, like this kind of like thing, nobody really can tell you about it. Sadly, it's something, it's like life can only ever be understood in hindsight. It's just such a shame it has to be lived for the other direction.
Yeah.
And like, I wish I knew about this when I was in school, because I could have had such a better experience. And I wish I had somebody in school that was able to like sit down and like explain these kind of things to me, that like, no, look, like your brain is like really, really good, and like it's trying to think this, it's trying to be creative and like think, oh, if this, do this, do this, do that. And I think that's why I'm like, oh, I'll do this in a slalom boat, like do this move, try to figure out this trick, right? And I wish someone sat me down and was like, look, like this is going to be like your superpower, but this is also going to be like, this is going to make it hard for you to do other things.
Yeah.
And I wish I understood that when I was younger, and I wish I had help developing better ways of dealing with it.
Yeah.
Yeah. What was the question?
This is about the Grand Canyon.
Oh my God.
And when you were speaking, I was really worried to say, how does this relate to the Grand Canyon, in case I'd missed something?
No. This is going to relate to the Grand Canyon. Okay. And I'll tell you why this relates to the Grand Canyon. Again, this is just my brain just going mad. But it all relates back. You just have to have a little bit of a nudge. Okay. So when you're in the Grand Canyon, you go on canyon time. All the guides at the start, they're like, turn your phone off. And if you are going to use your phone for pictures, just like set the date and time to like, you know, like the wrong date and time. Just completely make it wrong. And don't remember how, don't be like, oh, it's 1 hour ahead, 2 hours ahead. Just scramble it and who cares? Forget about it. Turn it off. And I like was so, that was the best thing that ever happened to me. Because I like went on canyon time. So 3 weeks, you go to sleep when the sun sets. It's like 8 p.m, like 7 p.m, the sun sets. You wake up when the sun rises at like 6 a.m. and you just kayak all day. And like my brain has never been so happy, because it had one objective to do. You just wake up, you go that way. Like the river's going that way, you're going that way. And all I had to do was kayak. And I got my creative buzz because I could surf and I could play and I could do all these like amazing things. And I was in this like beautiful environment with like all my friends and all my family. And I was like, and I think I'd never had a more like mindful experience. And like when like Eastern philosophies talk about meditation, they, in a film, right, you'll have like a monk that meditates, okay? And they go like, empty your mind, okay? But you can never empty your mind, okay? You can only ever, your brain has to be thinking, right? And in order to have a mindful experience, like the philosopher Alan Watt talks about it, concentrate on your breath. Fill your mind with one thing. And that's how you have a meditation experience.
That's how you focus.
Yeah, that's how you focus. And that's how you empty your mind. You empty your mind of all distractions and you just focus on one thing. And the Grand Canyon was like the ultimate meditative experience.
That's the one thing.
That's the one thing.
No time, no nothing.
No time, nothing. No deadlines, nothing.
Not late
no
for
internet
anything.
connection.
I like that.
Nothing. And I've this concept of like canyon time. Me and Tess have just learned how to canyon with like ropes.
Oh, cool.
Super cool over the summer. I do get a heart attack every time I come.
Every time a car comes down this corner.
Thinking that they're going to hit the camera. And when you're canyoning, I'd like, just don't take my phone. And all you've got to think about is the next abseil. And you just like, think about the rope. Think about this. I know she's getting close. Think about the rope. Think about the next abseil. Think about, and you get out after 2.5 hours and you're just like, I've never felt more relaxed.
Oh.
Because my like ADHD brain has just been doing
focused about one thing.
Yeah. And it almost feels like it's just woken up after a really good night's sleep.
I like that.
It's like, amazing. Yeah.
Yeah. I think that's why I enjoy kayaking so much, because I'm doing one thing.
Yeah.
I'm not worried about anything else.
Yeah.
And I'm just focusing on the one thing.
Yeah, man. No, honestly, I think that's like, it's like the ultimate. I think that's why people like soul surfing. It's just like the ultimate meditative experience. Actually, one of the best philosophy essays, and I'm glad because I wanted to talk about this. One of like the best philosophy essays ever written was on the meaning of life, which sounds super like dramatic, right?
Indeed.
But it's kind of not. They like it's by a guy called Moritz Schlick. I was so obsessed with this essay. I went to the area that I went to the exact spot that this guy was shot in Vienna. He opposed the Nazis. He was a philosophy professor in Vienna University, and he opposed the Nazis. And one of his Nazi students shot him. I know, crazy. Absolute legend. And he wrote this essay on the meaning of life, and it's amazing, right? And if you like, he sets up the problem of the meaning of life as in being like, humans have like striving wills. Like we're always like striving for goals. And the problem with like the universe is that the amount of pleasure is always outweighed by the amount of suffering. This comes from a guy called Arthur Schopenhauer. He said that, imagine a fox eating a rabbit. Okay, the rabbit is in like the most amount of pain possible. It's like having the worst time ever. And the fox is not, in a state of ecstasy. Yeah. It's in like a mild state of like, oh, well, I've eaten, I've got to do the same tomorrow. Okay. And so he says like this is like the balance, right? It's like extreme suffering and like mild pain. And he says the problem with life is that we set ourselves like earthly goals, thinking that the happiness we get from the goal is going to justify the work that we put into this goal. Okay. And so you say when you're in school, you're like, right, I'm going to work. I really hate school, but I'm going to work so hard because I get to study what I want in university. And then you get to university and you realize it's actually kind of tough and like you got to do all this rubbish and you don't really like it. You're like, but it doesn't matter because once I get this, I'm going to get a job. And when I get a job, and then you're chasing promotions, and then you're doing this, and then you're doing that, and then you're doing this, thinking that your happiness is always on the other side of the goal. And then when you get to the goal, the problem is that every time you reach one of these goals that you set, you're not in a state of amazing ecstasy. You're in a state of boredom, essentially. You're just like, all right, that was fun. And I'm like, the adrenaline's worn off, but like, what's next? And so we just set ourselves other goals. But the problem with this is life ends up being a pendulum. And this is what Schopenhauer says. He's like, life is just a pendulum that swings between suffering for a goal, and boredom when you reach the goal. And like Tyson Fury talked about this when he like became the heavyweight champion of the world. He had like an existential crisis of being like,
he's there.
I'm there, but what did it all mean? Yeah. What was the point of it all? And I got like this with slalom. I was like, I always thought that if I just got one thing, if I won one race, the Worlds, a World Cup, the Euros, the Olympics, if I just won this one thing, that would justify my life. That would justify my existence. That would finally give me this sense of happiness. And I kind of realized and had a bit of like a breakdown and that was what led to me stopping racing, is I realized that no goal was ever going to get me there. And so I ended up in this philosophical crisis. Well, that sounds so dramatic. Oh my God. what a knob. But that's when I read this essay by Moritz Schlick, okay? All right, and how does he solve the problem? Okay, well, he starts by giving a philosophical definition to play. He says, like, play is an activity done for the sake of itself, okay? work is done for a goal outside of the activity. I work to get money to buy shoes or whatever, to buy groceries or whatever. But play, you don't play for any specific purpose. You know, you don't work the piano, you play the piano. You know, if you work the piano, the best composer would be the one that finishes first.
Yeah,
you'd be like,
right.
or it'd be the one that hits a specific note. But that's not the point of playing the piano.
No.
The point of playing the piano is to play the piano.
Yeah.
And he says play is the goal of the activity is embedded within the activity itself. And that's exactly why. And he said that when you're in this state of mind, you essentially escape this cycle of like goal, boredom, because the goal is immediately satisfied by just doing the thing. When you like watch people at the falls and they're like surfing, or when I watch you actually, it's actually interesting because when I watch your videos on the D, I'm like, that's like the peak play. That's like peak philosophical experience. You're not like doing this to be like, oh, I need to really work on this technique. Or maybe you are, but I don't know. From the outside, it looks like you're just like, I'm just going to go have fun and just play and like work out different things and just like enjoy.
Enjoy the main thing.
And just like enjoy. And I think that is like, has really helped me with like this, my ADHD, like running around, like looking for the next thing, is like activities done for the sake of themselves where you just like are, and that's almost like, again, like a peak meditative experience. It's like the Grand Canyon, right? Like doing the Grand Canyon, you don't do it for an Instagram picture. You don't do it for a video. You don't do it for friends. You do it because you want to do it.
Yeah.
And so you're just in this experience where not only are you only concentrating on one thing, so it like soothes your mind. You're having this pure philosophical play experience for 3 whole weeks. And
just filling your soul.
Yeah. And like Mort Slick basically says, if you live a life of play, if you live a life that he who maximizes the amount of time playing, he's found the meaning of life.
I agree. Yeah. I can't tell you how much I agree with that.
No.
Just doing the things you enjoy.
Yeah.
What's the point of doing them if you didn't enjoy them?
And you don't need to always have the goal.
No.
A coach used to say to me like, oh, I hate play sessions because, you're not working on something.
Right.
Bro.
But that's where things happen as well.
Man, that's it. That's like the joy. Just like going today and like just working things out and just like having fun and doing the activity for the sake of doing it. Surfing to surf, kayaking to kayak.
Yeah.
Yeah, man. That's it.
I think a goal of continuously enjoying the sport is the best goal.
Yeah, man. I agree.
As soon as I don't like the sport, I'm going to quit and never touch it again. But I love this sport. Just enjoy it.
I think
paddle with people that enjoy the sport. I don't paddle with people that do it for an ego or an Instagram or a race.
Yeah, exactly.
I think it
doesn't need to be done for the sake of something else. No. You can do it just to do it.
Because we're not working, we're playing.
No. Well, that's quite a bold one to end on.
Yeah, but I like that though.
Yeah. That's cool.
This has been incredible, mate. This is one of my favourite episodes.
Oh, thank you very much.
If you got anything you want to shout out, plug, show off.
Oh, man, no. I don't know.
Any paddles, if you wanted to buy canoe paddles or kayak paddles.
Oh, well, I tell you what, I will shout out people that have been very nice to me. Teresa and Davey at Canoe Tech. Absolute legends. They supported me at a time when I was kind of struggling in my life, and they've been wicked, sponsoring me with Heiko gear and RS paddles. If you're looking to do C1 and you want to buy a whitewater C1 paddle, I kept destroying paddles. The only paddles I've ever had that worked are RS paddles. So go get one of them. So there you go.
Cannot agree more.
Yeah, exactly. Oh, we're biased. It's a biased podcast, this one.
Bomber paddles.
No, but in all fairness, they are bomber. I wouldn't just rep people that just gave me paddles that I broke all the time.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. They're the only ones I trust. Yeah, exactly.
The only ones I've not broken in a year.
Well, yeah.
I'm a paddler a year usually, so.
Really?
Yeah.
Yeah, damn. Yeah, that's about right, actually. A paddle a year. Expensive sport. Why didn't we pick like bocce ball or something?
Or badminton or something like that.
Yeah, badminton.
No risk.
No, you wouldn't be in the rain in a car park at the bottom of a river if we did badminton. Oh, maybe you would actually. Knowing you would be.
Awesome. This has been a great podcast.
Sweet man. Thanks for having me.
Thank you, mate.
Yeah, I hope I've not been like
Mate, this has been
pretentious.
amazing. It was so good.
If anybody's still listening now, then please message me and say you genuinely, if anybody's listening still to this very end, message me on Instagram, or if you have me on anything else, message me there, because I want to know if anybody actually made it this far. Oh my word.
Make sure you send Angus a message. Make sure you send us some questions, who you want to have on the podcast, anything like that. Send us a message just for the sake of it. Me and Danny like having messages. We've had a few nice messages in the last month, which has been quite nice to read.
Nice.
It's been special.
Yeah, man.
And yeah, do the old following, subscribing, liking, sharing, all that, whatever you want to do. Yeah.
Sweet, man.
Bish bash bosh.
There you go. Thanks
you,
so
mate.
much, guys. Thank
Incredible.
you so much, dude.
Happy days.